Chapter 2241 Time and Space Purple Gold Veins. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. It's this blood man who killed those half-step 8th level ancestors. Yi Tian stared at Qi Yan and felt the power of Qi Yan. However, he felt that Qi Yan's strength should be slightly worse than his own, but not by much. If he really wanted to fight, no one would want to defeat the other. If his life level was further improved, he might be able to suppress Qi Yan. But now, he has no time to improve his life level. Boom, Qi attacked and Yi Tian fought with him. When they fought against each other, Yi Tian and Qi Yan were inseparable, and their strengths were not much different. But Yi Tian knew very well that if it was this bloody man who killed those half-step 8th level ancestors, it would definitely not be his strength. In other words, Qi has a whole card. Soon, Qi let the primitive relics around him sacrifice himself, turning it into blood-colored energy and pouring into his body, helping him to temporarily improve his strength. In an instant, Qi's strength skyrocketed. Seeing this scene, Yi Tian finally understood. This must be the secret technique of the bloody tribe, and it can actually make a large number of primitive relics around him sacrifice himself to make Qi improve his strength. This kind of method can only be done by primitive antiquities, and if it is a practitioner, it is meaningless. Because it is impossible for practitioners to sacrifice themselves to enhance the strength of others. However, the primitive antiquities have no wisdom and will only obey orders, and it is very simple to cultivate primitive antiquities. The blood tribe is afraid that there are a large number of clansmen and affiliated primitive antiquities. Therefore, the blood tribe did not care about the sacrifice of these primitive antiquities at all. Even if you use the lives of countless primitive antiquities to kill a monstrous half-step 8-fold primitive cultivator, it will be worth it. Boom, Qi Yan, whose strength increased greatly, smashed Yi Tian's colorless mask, penetrated Yi Tian's 9-layer black domain, and directly shattered Yi Tian's body in half. But in an instant, Yi Tian recovered again. Shattered Yi Tian's body again and again, but no matter how Qi Hao attacked, there was no way to kill Yi Tian. As time passed, Qi Yan did not know how many times he attacked, but Yi Tian still had no problem. How can this be? Qi is stunned. He has also killed several half-step 8-fold ancestors before, and he knows that these half-step 8-fold ancestors are the most enchanting geniuses on the cultivator's side, and their combat power is even more terrifying than some of the 8-fold ancestors of the blood tribe. But even so, he still killed those half-step 8th level ancestors, and he didn't find it difficult to kill. However, he found that Yi Tian's life-saving ability and recovery ability were too terrifying. It was even harder to kill than the most enchanting primordial ancients. No, I have to run away. Qi Yan didn't dare to continue to attack. His strength improvement was temporary, and now he was about to reach the limit. If time passes, he will be in a weak period for a certain period of time, which is also the drawback of temporarily improving his strength. Once the strength is weak, he is not Yi Tian's opponent, and may even be killed by Yi Tian. Qi Yan escaped, but Yi Tian couldn't stop it. In the blink of an eye, Qi disappeared. Afterwards, Yi Tian reported Qi's information to the high-level officials of the 9-story building. As for whether the other half-step 8-layer primitive ancestors can compete with Qi Yan, that's none of his business. Anyway, he is not afraid of Qi. Time flies. Yi Tian has found more and more resources in this secret place, and the major forces are now aware of Qi's existence and have come up with various countermeasures. Although they couldn't kill Qi Yan, they could let those half-step 8-fold ancestors escape from Qi Yan's hands. Of course, the half-step 8-layer ancestors, who were slightly weaker and had no life-saving means, also withdrew one by one. After all, life is more important than resources. I found a lot of resources this time. If I practice well after I go out, it will be enough to raise my life level to above 35. Yi Tian thought to himself. This day, Yi Tian found another good thing. In the depths of the secret place, a purple gold mountain range stands here. And here, densely packed primitive antiquities are mining veins. However, the movements of these primitive antiquities are slow and the mining efficiency is mediocre. Yi Tian was blocked when he approached this area, but he killed all the way through. At this time, when he approached this mountain range, he felt the suppression of the mountain range, and his thinking, speed and reaction were all reduced. If he really entered this mountain range, he would be like these primitive antiquities, his movements would be very slow, and his strength would be greatly suppressed, which looked quite comical. This is the time-space purple gold stone vein. Yi Tian recognized it and confirmed it. When he thought that there was such a mineral vein here, he was extremely excited. This is the real Kui Bao. Time-space purple gold stone can be used to refine primordial Dao treasures, but its greatest use is to refine Yuan Dao embryos. For example, if the embryo of the nine-fold Yuan Dao is used, the space-time purple gold stone can be used as one of the main materials. Such a huge space-time purple gold stone, its value is enough to move the ancestors of the 9 layers. Quote, The bloody tribe is afraid that they attach great importance to this time-space purple gold stone mine, so they want to kill us half-step 8-fold original ancestors. Yi Tian thought to himself. It's a pity that Chi-Chi didn't do this, and let him break in here and discover this time-space purple gold stone vein. But soon, he looked sad. Although the time-space purple gold stone vein is precious, it is too difficult to mine. This material is extremely strong. Even if the half-step 8-fold original ancestor enters the vein, the strength will be suppressed, the reaction and movement will become very slow, and it is difficult to mine a piece. Time and space purple gold stone vein. Today, the countless primitive antiquities in this ore vein are almost all over this mountain range, but in fact, not many time-space purple gold stones can be mined. But the bloody tribe has occupied this secret place for a long time, so they definitely mined a lot of time and space purple gold stones. However, even if his original ancestor of the 8th level with Money Jiao occupied this place, he would not be able to mine much space-time purple gold stone. Maybe there is a way to quickly mine the time-space purple gold stone in the Zhouzhanglo. So, Yi Tian's other cloned body searched for the detailed information about the time-space purple gold stone in the 9-story building, and here began to slaughter this group of primitive relics. Boom! The dense primordial antiquities were killed by Yi Tian, and these primordial antiquities did not run away. The other side. Through the blood mirror, Chi-Chi learned about the situation of the time-space purple gold stone mine, so he immediately reported it to the blood tribe. And the instructions given by the blood man tribe is to ignore this time-space purple gold stone vein. After all, mining this vein is too time-consuming, and a mere half-step 8-fold primitive can't do anything at all. At this time, the blood tribe is worried about whether they can keep this secret place, and this is the key question. Chapter 2242 Copy the purple gold stone beast. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. In the days that followed, the blood man tribe dispatched a large number of primitive antiquities cannon fodder to cooperate with Qi Ya's attack on the half-step 8-layer primitive ancestor among the practitioners. Although Yi Tian blocked Qi Yan, other half-step 8-layer primitive ancestors may not be able to stop it. Even if all the major forces know about Qi's existence, Qi Yan has the hope of killing 1 or 2 half-step 8-layer primitives. Ancestor. In the case that there is no way to completely drive away the practitioners, they have no other way, and they can only try to find a way while resisting the practitioners. This day, Yi Tian finally found a way to quickly mine the space-time purple gold stone from a document in the Zhouzhanglo. Purple gold stone beast. This is the only creature that Zhouzhanglo knows that can quickly mine time-space purple gold stone. This kind of creature can ignore the suppression of time-space purple gold stone veins, and it also ignores the firmness of time-space purple gold stone veins, so it can easily mine time-space purple gold stone veins. However, purple gold stone beasts are rare, and they lack intelligence. Even if there is a purple gold stone beast at the half-step 8th level ancestor level in the 9-story building, there is no way for it to mine. However, Yi Tian can replicate the purple gold stone beast. Then, Yi Tian began to look for the existence of the purple gold stone beast in 187. With the intelligence ability of the 9 layers building, it didn't take long to find the purple gold stone beast that Yi Tian needed. This purple gold stone beast is only comparable to the peak realm of the 7th layer primitive ancestor, but it is enough. After all, if you want to find a purple gold stone beast that is comparable to the half-step 8th level ancestor level, it is really too difficult. Soon, Yi Tian saw this purple gold stone beast and left. Secret place, time-space purple gold stone vein. At this time, there is no original antiquities here, only Yi Tian is alone. It seems that the bloody tribe is not worried that I dig the time-space purple gold stone here, and they can't deal with me, so they didn't send the original antiquities. Yi Tian thought to himself. Exactly, he can copy the purple gold stone beast here. Copy. Yi Tian quickly copied the purple gold stone beast. The purple gold stone beast at the peak of the 7th layer primordial ancestor is very weak, and Yi Tian can instantly kill countless times with a wave of his hand. However, it can easily excavate these space-time purple gold stones. Yi Tian entered the space-time purple gold stone vein as a purple gold stone beast, and his strength was not suppressed at all this time. Moreover, its CJFJ can easily swipe through the ore veins with a single wave of its claws, ingesting time-space purple gold stones. So easy, Yi Tian said excitedly. If he digs the time-space purple gold stone by himself, it will take a long time to dig out one, but the purple gold stone beast can easily dig out a pile of time-space purple gold stone. At this speed, he can even hollow out this ore vein. Dig, dig, dig. Yi Tian doesn't care about other things now, he just stays here to mine. If there are other half-step 8-layer primitive ancestors coming, he will drive them away, this is already his territory. In this way, the years passed slowly. During this period of time, the Blood Tribe sent countless primitive relics to fight with the practitioners. And Zhouzhongluo, Shidaoshan, etc. are also thinking about whether to continue to let these half-step 8-fold primitive ancestors stay inside to fight and kill the countless primitive antiquities. With the existence of Qi, those half-step 8-fold ancestors are always at risk of falling. Of course, they can also send more half-step 8-fold original ancestors, but the loss will still be great. Primitive antiquities are not afraid of death and are easily born. Comparatively speaking, the loss of one half-step 8th level ancestor among these forces is a huge loss. However, this secret place is of great value, and only a small part of it has been explored so far. It would be a pity to give up directly. However, soon, they completely decided to occupy this secret place because of one thing, even at all costs. Just because a half-step 8th level primitive ancestor discovered a treasure in the secret land, the Hunyuan Ming, this is an extremely precious resource treasure. For primitive antiquities, this resource is of little value, but for the major forces among practitioners, Hunyuan Ming can be half-step to the life level of the 7th level primitive ancestor, and even half-step to the life level of 9 or more. The 7 original ancestors have a huge effect. In other words, if you have this chaotic source Styx River, you can cultivate more half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors with a life level of 9 or higher. What this means, the major forces are very clear. That is, in the future, the major forces will have more 9-fold ancestors, which is equivalent to increasing the top combat power of the major forces. Therefore, the value of this secret place is too great, far from losing some half-step 8-fold ancestors. The major forces began to increase the strength of these half-step 8-fold ancestors at all costs, as well as to give the original Taobao and life-saving things that greatly increased their strength. In addition, the original Taoist treasure that can make many half-step 8-fold original ancestors unite to exert more powerful combat power has also been prepared. In this way, many half-step 8-fold original ancestors joined forces to combine with the original Taobao, enough to erupt into a qi that is comparable to and surpasses that of the secret technique. In this way, Qi Yan's threat is nothing. In a word, the 9 ancestors of the major forces kept deducing various plans, just to win this secret place. Damn, the losses have been so bad recently. Qi Yan looked at his wound. Although the recovery is fast, it will take some time. And during this time, those half-step 8-fold primitive ancestors are frantically massacring the primitive antiquities here. Even if there are many primitive vassals of the Blood Tribe, they can't stand the consumption of such a long time. Afterwards, he left this secret place and returned to the Blood Tribe to meet the elders of the Blood Tribe. He really can't take it anymore. Soon, he will be back. Elders, those cultivators have joined forces and fought together through a certain treasure, bursting out with terrifying strength. I can't beat them. Chu said helplessly. The 3 elders of the chemical-level Blood Man tribe stationed at the entrance already knew about this situation, but this secret place is also very important to their Blood Man tribe. It was originally theirs, and they were naturally unwilling to give up. There is only one way now. A chemical-level elder said. The other 2 elders already knew what it was. Any solution? Chu asked. The transformation-level elder said. Let the blood people of the 8th level ancestors lower their cultivation bases to enter this secret place. Even if the blood people of the 8th level ancestors have lowered their cultivation bases, their physical fitness is still very strong, so even if their cultivation bases have been lowered, the strength is also very strong. As long as enough Yehara ancestors are lost, there is still hope to drive away those practitioners. 1 inch. Qi Yan was somewhat shocked by the elder's choice, but this method was indeed feasible. It's just that the blood people of the Ye ancestor level are also very important, and there is also hope that they will become the existence of the material level. Of course, the Blood Man tribe will definitely bring those blood people who do not have the potential to become chemical grades into the secret land, and will not sacrifice the potential Yehara ancestors. Chapter 2243 Terrifying Army Formation. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Soon, The elders of the Blood Man tribe sent batches of eightfold ancestors, and sent tens of thousands of eightfold ancestors. These eightfold original sins have no potential to be promoted to the material level, but they are also the backbone of the blood tribe. But for the sake of this secret place, the loss of these eightfold original ancestral blood people will also be lost, and they can still be made up in the future. Buzzing. A blood man of the eightfold ancestor level was wiped out by several material level elders who belonged to the eightfold ancestor, forcibly destroyed the cultivation base, leaving only half of the power of the eightfold ancestor. In this way, these eightfold primitive ancestors will never have the opportunity to become the eightfold primordial ancestor level blood people. It can be said that they are completely abolished. Go in. Several of the elders of the transformation level sent all the 8-level ancestor blood people who had lowered their cultivation bases into the secret place, and Chi-Chi also entered the secret place again after recovering from his injuries. In the days that followed, the half-step 8-level primitive ancestors of the major forces were miserable, and they were attacked by those 8-level primitive ancestors who had lowered their cultivation. In a short period of time, more than 10 half-step 8th-level ancestors have fallen. The loss is extremely huge. Of course, those bloody people lost more. However, those blood people themselves are easy to cultivate and have little value. Relatively speaking, the losses of the major forces are serious. It is equivalent to exchanging the lives of a bunch of high-level cannon fodder with a genius. No matter how many geniuses there are in the major forces, it is impossible to change them like this. The Blood Man tribe sent in a bunch of 8-fold original ancestor blood people who had lowered their cultivation bases. Yi Tian also got this news at this time, and was a little shocked. Any of the 8th-level ancestors is also an intermediate force in the region, even the leaders and elders of some forces. Even in the 9-level building, the 8th-level ancestor has a high status, and it is impossible to sacrifice at will. But the bloody tribe sacrificed so many primitive ancestors in one fell swoop. However, the forces such as the Zhouzhonglo can't sacrifice the original ancestors of the 8 layers, and those ancestors of the 8 layers will not agree, and only the ancient antiquities can do such a method. Faced with the means of the bloody tribe, the major forces are also thinking about countermeasures. At this time, Yi Tian finally emptied the entire space-time purple gold stone vein, and obtained billions of space-time purple gold stones in total. So many time-space purple gold stones can be said to be unimaginable wealth, and it is a good wealth for the ancestors of the 9 layers. With so many space-time purple gold stones, I can create the top 9-level Yuandao embryo for myself. Yi Tian muttered. Then, he left here, leaving only a broken ore vein. Another time has passed. This day, the 9-story building called all the half-step 8-layer ancestors to evacuate from the secret place. After Yi Tian received the news, he immediately left the secret place. After returning, I realized that Zhouzhonglo did not give up the secret place, but that it was not worth it to continue to spend with the bloody tribe like this. After all, no matter how much the original antiquities of the bloody tribe are consumed, they will not feel distressed, but Zhouzhonglo will not joke about the lives of those half-step 8th-level ancestors. This time, I called these half-step 8-layer ancestors back, just for the next general attack. Holy Killing Dao Array. Yi Tian learned from the ancestors of Zhu Jian Dao that the top 9 ancestors of the 9 layers building jointly created this extremely terrifying killing army formation. It takes 10,800 half-step 8th-level ancestors to unite to form a real holy killing formation. At present, the 9-layer building can barely gather so many half-step 8-layer ancestors, but this set of killing troops is too mysterious and complicated. Therefore, these half-step 8-fold primitive ancestors need to comprehend the true mystery of holy killing, and after they have fully comprehended, they will enter that secret place together and kill all those primitive antiquities. Moreover, they firmly believe that the blood tribe has no way to deal with it. Yeah, the blood man tribe is the half-step 8-level blood man with wisdom. The other blood people have no wisdom. Even the powerhouses of the blood man tribe have deduced such a killing formation, but they can't cooperate. Show it off. 1. Yi Tian secretly said. Later, he also went to comprehend the holy killing Dao formation. At the same time, he also exchanged the time-space purple gold stone transaction he obtained to the 9-story building, and then exchanged it for other materials of the same level. There are many materials suitable for refining the embryo of the 9-layer Yuan Dao in the 9-layer building, but the requirements for exchange are very high, either need to do some special tasks, or need the same level of materials to exchange. The space-time purple gold stone meets the requirements. Therefore, Yi Tian exchanged all kinds of extremely precious materials in a short period of time. Not long after, Yi Tian finally gathered the materials. With so many precious materials, the Zhejiang Yuandao embryo created is definitely the top one. Ask for flowers, Yi Tian thought to himself. However, he didn't go to refining now. He waited until he reached the limit of the half-step 8th level primitive ancestor and his life level improved very slowly, and then refined the 9th level Yuandao embryo and refined it into his own body. Secret place. More than 10,000 half-step 8-layer ancestors from the 9-story building gathered here. Originally, some half-step 8-layer ancestors did not get places, but now they have been sent to make up the number. At this time, they all understood the Holy Slaughter Dao formation, and they all incorporated the Saint Slaughter Dao array seal, which could be combined into a formation at any time. Go in. One by one, the original ancestors of the 9 layers tore apart the barrier of the secret place, forming a passage, allowing the group of half-step 8-layer ancestors to enter. And Yi Tian went with the other half-step 8 layers, and immediately formed a holy killing formation. More than 10,000 half-step 8-layer ancestors seemed to be connected together under the shuttle of rays of light, and a terrifying body emerged, and the terrifying aura surpassed the half-step 8-layer ancestor by many times. However, the class of this kind of power still belongs to the half-step 8-fold original ancestor, and it does not reach the 8-fold original ancestor in terms of quality, but the amount is too terrifying. Kill. The body of the Taoist formation formed by the holy killing Taoist formation held a killing blade and tore it away with one knife, killing countless primitive ancient objects in this area. Then, this body kept slaughtering those primitive antiquities in various areas of the secret place. What happened? Chu was shocked. These half-step 8-fold ancestor practitioners have clearly left, and he thought those practitioners gave up. As a result, these cultivators came back, and through the blood mirror, these cultivators actually formed such a terrifying army formation. Unexpected, a terrifying body appeared in his perception. Not good. He knew he was locked. However, all his struggles were in vain. A single blow that was enough to kill the top 8-layer ancestor struck with mighty force, directly shattering his body. Just like that, Chu was killed. And those blood people who came in from the original ancestors of the 8th layer were also killed in large numbers. In a short period of time, the original antiquities in the secret place were almost emptied by the holy killing formations in the 9-layer building in Shidao Mountain. Corpse. Chapter 2244 Breakthrough, the original ancestor of the 8 layers. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Blood tribe. At this time, these primitive antiquities of the chemical grade already knew the situation in the secret place. After all, the existence of the chemical level can easily understand the situation of those primitive antiquities, and can perceive their life and death. Qian is dead, a material level powerhouse said helplessly. He knew that the bloody tribe would not be able to regain this secret place, and the losses were very heavy. But they can't do anything. After all, the bloody tribe is only one of the tribes of the original ancient sea, and it is still too weak compared to the great forces of the silent Black Sea. Even if they have a numerical advantage at the half-step 8-layer original ancestor level, the gap in individual combat power is too great. Today, even Qi is dead, and so many primitive relics have been killed. Although they can continue to send a large number of primitive antiquities in, they are only sent to death, and there is no meaning of 187. Let this secret place be given to those practitioners. The 3 demon-level elders evacuated here and returned to the bloody tribe. A period of time has passed, and the original antiquities are still gone. At this time, the major forces knew that the blood tribe had completely abandoned this secret place. Therefore, they began to transform this secret place and arranged a large number of formations, which is also what practitioners are good at. At the same time, the Hunyuan Styx River was also jointly occupied and used by several major forces. In addition, other resources were also divided up by the major forces. Among them, the half-step 8-fold ancestors who entered here naturally obtained a lot of resources, and each one's net worth skyrocketed. Not long after, the half-step 8-fold original ancestor of the major forces came out. Yi Tian also came back and began to retreat and practice. This time, he has obtained so many resources, among which there are many resources that can improve the level of life. For example, the white crystal emperor flower can improve his life level. Just try the effect of the white crystal emperor flower. Yi Tian swallowed the white crystal emperor flower in one gulp and began to refine it. Under the effect of the white crystal emperor flower, Yi Tian's life level increased rapidly, and it didn't take long to completely break the level of 30. You must know that in the half-step 8th level ancestor realm, it is difficult to break the life level of 30, but Yi Tian did it. This is due to the fact that he raised his life level to 9.9 when he was in the half-step 7th level original ancestor realm. Therefore, it will be easier for him to raise his life level in the future, so he can raise his life level to above 30 in the half-step 8-fold original ancestor realm. And raising the life level to more than 30 also increased Yi Tian's physical strength. Obviously, this is also a small breakthrough. Afterwards, Yi Tian's life level continued to improve, and the rate of improvement was not small. From this, it can be seen that the effect of the white crystal emperor flower is too terrifying. In the days that followed, Yi Tian, in addition to the white crystal emperor flower, also refined other good treasures one by one to improve his life level. Of course, some resources for raising the level of life are still left. After breaking through to the 8th level ancestor realm in the future, refining will be used, and the effect will be better. In the blink of an eye, tens of billions of years have passed. At this time, Yi Tian's cultivation, will, and life level were difficult to continue to improve, so he did not continue to practice. He is going to refine the embryo of the 9-fold Yuan Dao, and prepares for the impact on the 8-fold primordial ancestor. At this time, he also tested the level of life. 36.5. Seeing this data, Yi Tian is very satisfied. This is far more than the other half-step 8th level ancestors of the 9-level building. Subsequently, Yi Tian began to refine the Zhouzhong Yuandao embryo. He took out a large amount of space-time purple gold stone and a large number of other precious materials and began to refine it. Absorb the energy contained in these materials with the power of the limitless Yuan Dao, and condense the 9-fold Yuan Dao embryo in the body. With the continuous consumption of these materials, Yi Tian's Zhouzhong Yuandao embryo also began to take shape, but the initial Zhouzhong Yuandao embryo was relatively illusory. It's just that with the passage of time, the illusory Zhouzhong Yuandao embryo becomes solid and stronger. At this time, the more precious the material, the more benefits will be manifested, and the 9-layer Yuandao embryo created in this way will be very powerful. After a long time, Yi Tian consumed a huge amount of materials, and finally condensed the embryo of the Zhouzhong Yuandao to the extreme. At this time, even if he prepared more materials, he could not make the Zhouzhong Yuandao embryo stronger. The 9-fold Yuandao embryo is condensed, and then you can attack the 8-fold ancestor. Yi Tian immediately spent his points to enter the Golden Sea, and came to the core area of the Golden Sea and began to attack the realm of the 8-fold primitive ancestor. I saw that Yi Tian used the Supreme Yuan Dao control technique to hook up with the embryo of the 9-layer Yuan Dao, and then used the limitless Yuan Dao to attack the shackles in the dark. Crack! The shackles were easily shattered, and the bottleneck disappeared. Yi Tian's cultivation base was officially broken, and he was promoted from the half-step 8th level ancestor realm to the 8th level original ancestor's initial stage. Endless energy poured into Yi Tian's body, helping him stabilize the cultivation realm. And Yi Tian's Zhouzhong Yuandao embryo was also absorbing energy frantically, and finally began to bloom, becoming a Zhouzhong Yuandao flower. After a long time, Yi Tian absorbed a huge amount of energy, and his cultivation was officially stable. The realm of the original ancestor of the 8th layer has finally arrived, and I am now placed in the 9-level building, which is also an intermediate force, and it is only one big realm away from the realm of the 9-level ancestor. Yi Tian smiled. As soon as he became the original ancestor of Ye, he found that his strength had far surpassed that of before, and he could even kill his previous self with one blow. Afterwards, he left Janae and returned to Guquan Xuanlu. Ancient Spring Xuanlu. As soon as Yi Tian came back, he tested the level of his life. 41.5. Seeing this data, Yi Tian thinks it's okay. After all, he has also improved a lot of 5.9 life level all at once. He estimates that when his cultivation base breaks through to the peak of the 8-fold primitive ancestor, his life level should be raised to about 60. However, when you reach the realm of the original ancestor of the 8th layer, it will be very difficult for the cultivation base to rise to the peak realm of the original ancestor of the 8th layer. Countless years of painstaking cultivation of the original ancestor of the 8-fold are still in the early stage of the original ancestor, unable to break the shackles and become the middle stage of the original ancestor of the 8-fold. It can be said that in the realm of the 8-fold primitive ancestor, every small realm is a shackle, and it takes a long time and resources to break it. Fortunately, I obtained the time-space purple gold stone mine in the secret place. Although I used up a lot, there are still a lot of them left, enough to exchange for a lot of resources. There will be no shortage of resources for the time being, and it is enough to practice quietly. Yi Tian muttered. Chapter 2245 Truncating the Area Boundary. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Long years have passed. Yi Tian has been cultivating quietly, but on this day, the other body in the Taikuyuan region has noticed that the energy of the Taikuyuan region is rising, and the rate of increase is not slow. Not only that, the quiet Black Sea where this area is located has also changed. The number of primitive antiquities here has increased, and the number of ancient nests has also increased. Correspondingly, the resources of this area have also increased. At the beginning, Yi Tian didn't care about this situation, but as time went by, the rate of increase became faster and faster, as if there were signs of chasing the boundaries of the vast sea. So, Yi Tian began to pay attention to this situation and began to investigate in this area. Soon, Yi Tian had a guess. Feedback from the origin of the boundary in the Hanhai district and some other factors. 1 inch. Yi Tian thought to himself. The appearance of the ancient megalithic nest has occupied most of the original boundary of the vast sea area, but in fact the boundary of the vast sea area has not been destroyed, it still exists, but the area of the boundary has been greatly reduced. Moreover, the ancient nest of giant stones is located in the central area of the boundary of the 29 districts of Hanhai, which has caused the origin of the boundary of the vast sea to be suppressed very much, and it is difficult for resources to be born. Therefore, in this case, the area at the other end of the truncation of Montenegro is also a part of the boundary of the vast sea region, but due to the existence of the truncation of Montenegro, the boundary of the vast sea region is divided into two. Therefore, the area that cut off the Montenegro was abandoned by the origin of the boundary of the Hanhai district. But now, the origin of the boundary of the vast sea area is very likely to be moved to this area, and a large area boundary comparable to the boundary of the vast sea area will be reproduced from this area again. It should be more than that, and the impact of truncation of Montenegro. Yi Tian guessed secretly. Truncate Montenegro is very mysterious, and it is said that even Zhouzhanglo does not really understand truncate Montenegro. This time, the ancient megalithic nest also occupied a small area of the truncated Montenegro, resulting in a slight change in the truncated Montenegro. Under the influence of many factors, the area where the Taikuyuan regional boundary is located has undergone tremendous transformation. Judging from the current situation, this transformation is currently a good thing. However, the silent Black Sea has become dangerous, and the Taoist ancestors in this area are almost all 6th-level ancestors, and they will be dangerous if they stay in the silent Black Sea for a long time. As a result, many Taoist ancestors united and built a large number of Taoist gates, connecting each community. In this way, they do not need to enter the silent Black Sea to travel. However, the half-step 7th-level ancestor still dared to enter the silent Black Sea to hurry, but he did not dare to stay for too long. This day, another community circle was born in this area, which caught Yi Tian's attention. So, Yi Tian came to the place where the community circle was born for the first time. It's been a long time since there was a community in this area, but this time a community was born. Will the community be born one after another? Yi Tian muttered. Sure enough, in the following years, one community after another was born, and they were all in some barren areas nearby. At this speed, it is really possible for this area to recover to the level of the vast sea area. But right now, the Taoist ancestors on the other side of the boundary of the vast sea have not discovered the situation here. Therefore, the information here cannot be transmitted to there in a short time. But the situation here will definitely not be concealed for long, and it will eventually be discovered. Once discovered, the Tao ancestors of the vast sea region will probably come over and occupy the territory here. Yi Tian is not worried that things will be messed up here. The arrival of those Taoist ancestors will only make this area prosperous. However, the competition here will become extremely fierce. Of course, if Yi Tian sits in the Taikuyuan area, no one dares to occupy this place. There will be more and more resources in this area, but we can take the opportunity to let the tribe occupy more treasures. Yi Tian muttered. At present, the human race has also given birth to many Taoist ancestors of the 6th-level ancestor level under his training. Although they are all Taoist ancestors who have just broken through, they are also considered to be a powerful force in the primordial region. Moreover, as the backer of the human race, other forces dare not compete with the human race. So in the following years, Yi Tian marked all the newly discovered treasures in this area one by one, and then let the people occupy them and built a gate to these treasures. With these treasures, the strength of the human race will become stronger and stronger. This day, Yi Tian discovered an ancient nest. This ancient nest is comparable to the scale of the ancient nest number 3 in Hanhai district, and it was newly born. At present, all the ancient nests are primitive relics, and there are many resources. So, Yi Tian entered this ancient nest and spent a little time killing all the primitive relics inside the ancient nest. But if this ancient nest is not transformed, there will still be a steady stream of primitive relics born here. And transforming an ancient nest is not difficult for Yi Tian. He exchanged some materials and began to transform this ancient nest. Not long after, this ancient nest was remodeled by Yi Tian, and the original antiquities were no longer bred. There are a lot of resources bred in this ancient nest, and even the value is not inferior to the number 3 ancient nest in the boundary of the vast sea. This ancient nest can be regarded as one of the ancestral places of the human race. Yi Tian muttered, although the 187 realm in the Taikuyuan region is also very good, the resources are too scattered, and it is only a small community. Compared with this ancient nest, it is hardly worth mentioning. So, Yi Tian moved a group of human races here. In addition, a passage connecting this area with the Taikuyuan area has been built, allowing the strong people of the race to travel between the area and this ancient nest. Another time has passed. At this time, thousands of new community boundaries have been born in this area, and Dao ancestors have already discovered the situation here in the boundary of Hanhai district, and many Dao patriarchs have moved here. However, this area is still remote after all, and the remaining border of the vast sea is very small, but there is a way to go to the boundary. Therefore, many Taoist ancestors were still watching, and did not leave the boundary of the vast sea to come here. As more and more Dao ancestors came over, this area also had a new name, the Truncated Area Boundary. As the reputation of the Truncated Area spread, even the Hanhai Palace sent some Taoist ancestors to build a giant city here, Hanhai Giant City. And the next news made Yi Tian a little surprised. Zhu Chonglo is going to build a branch of Wanglo at the boundary of the cut-off area. Yi Tian was a little surprised by this. Afterwards, he asked Zhu Sword Dao Ancestor and learned the truth from Zhu Sword Dao Ancestor. Chapter 2246 Truncating Montenegro and #039, S secret. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Is there any hope that the cut-off area will grow into a heaven-level area? Yi Tian was a little surprised when he got this truth. He felt that the truncated boundary, as a part of the boundary of the vast sea, would at most be restored to the peak of the boundary of the vast sea. And the boundary of the Hanhai district was only a yellow-level district boundary at the beginning. The so-called yellow-level region boundary is also the lowest region boundary, and such a division is the division stipulated by the 9-layered building and other forces. These forces divided each region into the heaven and earth Xuanwang, and the divisions of the 9-story building were also divided according to the heaven and earth Xuanwang. For example, Guquan Xuanlu is one of the Xuanlu, and the Guquan district boundary where it is located is one of the Zan-level district boundaries. In the entire Silent Black Sea, there are 18 heaven-level district boundaries, 66 prefecture-level district boundaries, thousands of Zan-level district boundaries, and the rest are yellow-level district boundaries. The level of a large area is determined almost at the beginning of its birth. Unless the big forces spend a huge cost to transform and improve the origin of the large area, it is possible to promote the large area. Landlord, how can the truncation area be qualified to become a heaven-level area? Yi Tian was very puzzled. Even the boundaries of the vast sea region do not have this qualification. How could the boundaries of the truncated region be qualified? The reason lies in the truncation of Montenegro. Weijian Daozu explained. Because the ancient megalithic nest is on the boundary of the vast sea area and covers a truncation of Montenegro, many Zhejiang primitive ancestors went to check and found a trace of truncation of Montenegro. In addition to the changes in the boundary of the truncated area in recent years, our Zhejiang original ancestor of the Zhejiang building went to investigate again and found that there was a little change in the depths of the truncated Montenegro. Took away some of the mysterious substances that cut off Montenegro, resulting in the potential of the cut-off area to become a heaven-level area. Of course, it is only potential at present, which does not mean that it can really become a sky-level area, but it can become a zone-level area. Region boundaries should be easy. I see. Yi Tian understood a little. But just by deriving some special substances from the truncated Montenegro, the truncated area boundary has the potential to become a heaven-level large area boundary, so how mysterious the entire truncated Montenegro is. Lord Landlord, what secret does Intercept Montenegro have? Yi Tian asked curiously. Weijian Daozu shook his head. I don't know very well, I only know that before the endless years ago, when Truncate Montenegro was just born, there were Zhejiang Yuanzu who tried to break into the depths of Truncate Montenegro, trying to understand the secret of Truncate Montenegro. Fall in the depths of the truncated Montenegro. What, all the 9 ancestors have fallen? Yi Tian was shocked. Zhejiang Yuanzhu is the top combat power of the Silent Black Sea. Even if it is placed in the original Ancient Sea, it is also the top combat power. These powerhouses actually fell in the process of exploring the depths of Montenegro's time and space, and they didn't even escape. It's too scary to cut off the depths of Montenegro. Didn't the original ancestor of the 9 layers try to probe later? Yi Tian asked again. Zhu Jian Daozu said with a wry smile, which 9-fold ancestor is willing to take risks. And the materials suitable for the 9-fold ancestor to refine the clone are almost extinct. Even if the 9-fold ancestor has refined a clone, they don't want to waste it. Moreover, many 9-fold ancestors have been deduced. After a while, the results showed that even if the top 9 ancestors went to investigate, they would still die 19 times. Therefore, since then, there has been no 9 ancestors to explore the secrets that cut off the depths of Montenegro's time and space. The top 9 ancestors will die if they go there. Yi Tian really took a deep breath. From this point of view, if you want to understand the secret of truncating the depths of time and space in Montenegro, unless it is beyond the realm of the peak of the 9-fold original ancestor. But at present, according to what he knows, the Silent Black Sea and the original Ancient Sea, the peak of the 9-fold original ancestor is the highest realm. When I become the ancestor of the 9 layers in the future, I can go check it out. Yi Tian muttered. After all, he has a duplicate body, but he is not afraid of falling. But now there is no need. After all, he can't even go there. Even if he can really go there and lose countless duplicate bodies, he won't even try to find out. After realizing the potential of cutting off the boundary, Yi Tian called his disciple Han Zan back. For Han Zan, there will be more opportunities to cut off the boundary in the future. Moreover, Yi Tian was going to let Han Zan enter the cut-off yellow building that was about to be established. At present, with his help, Han Zan is about to raise her life level to 6 or higher. Once her life level reaches 6 or higher, she will be eligible to join the Yellow Tower. After Han Zan received Yi Tian's order, she quickly returned to the cut-off area. Taikuyuan area boundary. Han Zan is back. Master. 1. Han Zan wondered why her master told her to return to the cut-off area. Although the cut-off area has changed a bit recently, the resources have increased a lot, and there is even hope that it will return to the level of the vast sea area in the future. However, it would be better for her to stay in the boundary of the Hanhai district now. Yi Tian looked at Han Zan and said, "Teacher, the boundary of the cut-off area has changed. In the future, you can easily surpass the boundary of the vast sea area. Staying here will give you more opportunities. In addition, I will help you raise your life level to 6 or above. So you can also join the cut-off yellow building. The future road will be much better than before." Master, do you want to build a truncation yellow building? Han Zan was a little surprised. Yes. Yi Tian nodded. Truncated area has the potential to become a more powerful area in the future, so there will be many opportunities here in the future. Zhejiang will build a branch here. There is a chance here, you can get the news faster, and get the chance. Master, will you also stay in the cut-off yellow building? Han Zan asked. Yeah, Yi Tian said. I will keep a clone here. Afterwards, Yi Tian took out a treasure that could raise the level of life, and was just right for the half-step 7th level ancestor, and gave it to Han Zan. Han Zan will spend the next days refining this treasure of resources and improving her life level skills. After a period of time, Han Zan's life level officially increased to 6.2. At this time, the Chuan Duan Wanglo was successfully constructed, and the location was in an ancient nest somewhere in Duangduan, Montenegro. At present, this ancient nest has been renovated by the 9-story building, and it is very hidden, and there are many resources in the ancient nest. This is a very suitable place for the construction of the truncation of the Wanglo branch, which was found by Zhejiang. It is better than occupying the ancient nest. Chapter 2247 Infinite Tao. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. After the Chuan Duan Wanglo was completed, under the guidance of Yi Tian, Han Zan officially joined the Zhejiang building and settled in the Duan Wanglo. In addition, there are also a number of official members of the 7th level original ancestor level and the official members of the half-step 8th level original ancestor level who have been transferred from other branches of the 9-level building to the truncate yellow building. There are even 3 original ancestors of the 8th layer who sit in this yellow building, and one of them is Yi Tian. Yi Tian was originally a member of the truncation area, so Zhejiang directly let him sit here, but he was still a member of Guquan Xuanlu. In the silent Black Sea, it is not only the 9-story building that is staring at the boundary of the truncated area, but several other major forces are also eyeing this place, sending Daozu to build a stronghold here. However, there is currently no value here, so there will be no conflicts between the major forces. But for those half-step 7-layer primitive ancestors, the following years of the truncated area continued to breed the community and many resource treasures, allowing them to continuously obtain resources and rapidly increase their strength. In a short period of time, many half-step 7-level ancestors were born in the cut-off area, and even local 7-level ancestors were born. For example, the Xuanqing Daozu from Tongtianyuan area, after obtaining many opportunities, has now stepped into the realm of the 7th-level ancestors in one breath. However, Xuanqing Daozu only understood the 8th-level ancestor, and his life level was also very low, so even if he became the 7th-level ancestor, his combat power was still far inferior to the half-187-step 7th-level ancestor of the 9-level building. Of course, Xuanqing Daozu himself was very satisfied. Having become the original ancestor of the 7th layer, his strength is far beyond before, and there is even hope to become the original ancestor of the half-step 8th layer in the future. It's just that as more and more Dao ancestors cut off the boundary, his status is a little embarrassing, and the 7th layer primitive ancestor is not enough to watch. The cultivation of the 8th level ancestor is too difficult, and it has consumed countless resources. The cultivation base is still in the early stage of the 8th level ancestor, and it even feels like there is no improvement. Yi Tian muttered. He also knows that it is not easy for the 8th level ancestor to improve his cultivation. There are many 8th level ancestors in the 9-level building, and they are only at the initial stage of the 8th level ancestor, and they are not lacking in resources. Therefore, if you want to improve the cultivation base of the original ancestor of the 8 layers, you need not only massive resources but also endless time. And the original ancestor of Yazong wants to improve his strength, and it is not only the way to improve his cultivation. The 8-fold primordial ancestor can break the shackles of the ultimate Yuan Dao and comprehend a higher level of Dao, which is called the infinite Dao. 1 Yuan is the beginning, infinite is the end. Above the silent Black Sea, the infinite Dao is also called the most terrifying Dao, which is the sublimation and transformation of the Yuan Dao. However, countless primitive ancestors did not comprehend the immeasurable Dao in the end, and even some of the primitive ancestors cultivated to the peak state of the primitive ancestors, and their own Dao was still the Yuan Dao, and they did not comprehend the immeasurable Dao. But once he comprehends the immeasurable Dao in the 8-fold ancestor realm, he is almost invincible. It is difficult to comprehend the immeasurable way, and even many primitive ancestors of the 8 layers cannot touch the threshold, but the primitive ancestors of the 9 layers can comprehend the immeasurable way. Even a half-step 9-fold original ancestor, if he stayed in this realm for a while longer, no matter how poor his understanding was, he would still be able to comprehend the immeasurable path. If I comprehend the immeasurable way, even if the cultivation base is still in the initial stage of the 8th level ancestor, my strength will be transformed. Yi Tian thought to himself. And after comprehending the infinite Dao, you can also create the infinite Dao control technique that surpasses the supreme Yuan Dao control technique, and the strength you exert will continue to skyrocket. I don't know anything about the infinite Dao. I only know a name. I have to listen to the preaching of the ancestor of the 9 layers. Yi Tian inquired a little and learned that there is indeed a sermon on the infinite Dao in the Zhouzhang building, but an appointment is required, and it will take a long time for a Zhouzhang original ancestor to explain the infinite Dao. Hey, Zhuhu Daozu, he will teach immeasurable Dao after 6.3 billion years of the original era, 20,000 points to listen to once, make an appointment. Yi Tian spent 20,000 points to book the sermon of Zhuhu Daozu. 20,000 points is nothing to him now, he can easily take it out. In a blink of an eye, more than 6 billion years have passed. On this day, Zhuhu Daozu preached in a special time and space in the Zhouzhang building, and many registered regular members could listen to the sermon. CJFJ, and Yi Tian came to this special time and space for the first time after getting the news. So many Taoist ancestors are here. Yi Tian looked around and found that tens of thousands of Taoist ancestors had gathered here, and more Taoist ancestors had come. In the end, the number of Taoist ancestors who listened to this time reached more than 60,000. Most of them are the original ancestors of the 8th level, and there are a few half-step 9-level ancestors. As for the original ancestor of the 9 layers, there is no such thing. After all, when they have reached the realm of the ancestors of the 9 layers, they have understood the immeasurable way, and naturally it is impossible to condescend to listen to the preaching of the ancestor of the 9 foxes. Even if the 9 ancestors communicated with each other, it could not be here. There are more than 60,000 Tao patriarchs, and each Tao patriarch will pay at least 20,000 points. Just this preaching, this 9-fox Tao patriarch can earn 1.2 billion points. 1.2 billion points is also an unimaginable wealth for Yi Tian. The key is that the points of the 9-story building are difficult to obtain, and they basically have to do tasks. Although Yazong Yuanzu earns a lot of points for the tasks done, how can he earn such a casual preaching by Zhuhu Daozu? It has to be said that the stronger the strength, the easier it is to obtain wealth resources. Not long after, Zhuhu Daozu came. Zhuhu Daozu is a strong man in the late stage of Zhouzhong Yuanzu, a member of Tianlu, and his strength is similar to that of Luohan Daozu. Information about this 9-fox Daozu appeared in Yi Tian's mind. Moreover, Zhuhu Daozu is also a female Daozu. After Zhuhu Daozu came, there was no nonsense, and after a few simple words, he began to preach. Zhuhu Daozu's own breath of immeasurable Dao enveloped the audience, causing more than 60,000 Daozu to fall into the Dao rhyme of immeasurable Dao. Under such circumstances, the sermons of Zhuhu Daozu are more easily understood by many Taoist ancestors. Yi Tian listened to Zhuhu Daozu's sermon carefully and gradually understood the infinite Dao. Gradually, the years passed. And Zhuhu Daozu left after preaching for so long, which means that this sermon is over. And one Taoist ancestor did not leave, but continued to realize the mystery of the immeasurable Dao. I don't know how long it has passed. A Taoist ancestor who was at the peak of the 8th level ancestor sighed with emotion. Hey, the immeasurable Dao is too difficult to comprehend. I always feel that I have touched a little threshold, but it still doesn't work. If the 9-fox Taoist has been preaching for me, I feel that I can definitely comprehend the immeasurable way in the realm of the original ancestor of the 8 layers. 1. At this time, another 8-level ancestor sarcastically said, Zhuyun Daozu, you still want Zhuhu Daozu to preach for you all the time. Haha, how can Zhuhu Daozu have such a skill? The Taoist ancestor named Zhuyun didn't say much and left soon. And Yi Tian also left here and returned to the cut-off yellow building. At this time, in his heart, he already had a direction for the immeasurable Dao. Chapter 2248 Comprehend the prototype of the immeasurable Dao. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Yuan Dao is derived from Wan Dao, and in the Wan Dao, immeasurable Dao is born. This is the key to comprehending the infinite path. It seems to understand, but in fact, if you want to do it, it seems that you can't start, it is really difficult. Yuan Dao is derived from Wan Dao, and then Yuan Dao is derived from Wan Dao. According to Zhuhu Daozu, it is based on the ultimate Yuan Dao, and derives a series of Dao, and deduces and comprehends these Dao to be comparable to the ultimate Yuan Dao. The degree of Dao, and then derive and comprehend again from these Dao, thus breaking the shackles of the limit Yuan Dao, and comprehend the higher level of immeasurable Dao. Yi Tian muttered to himself. Strictly speaking, infinite Dao is a high-end version of extreme limited element Dao. For me, trying to comprehend the infinite Dao is more advantageous than other Dao patriarchs. Yi Tian thought to himself. He has a lot of Yuan Dao ancestral Fu, and he has a natural advantage in comprehending Yuan Dao, and he can easily comprehend Yuan Dao to the limit. Now, if you comprehend the Yuan Dao with the evolution of the limitless Yuan Dao, and improve many Yuan Dao, the difficulty will naturally be much easier. In the years that followed, one of Yi Tian's cloned bodies would fully comprehend the immeasurable Dao. Because his talent is really too enchanting, so he can perceive his own weak progress. Compared with other Ye ancestors who have been unable to feel progress for a long time, he can see hope. And the other eightfold ancestors have practiced for countless years without seeing hope, and naturally they will not practice so seriously. Yi Tian will not rely on himself to comprehend the immeasurable Dao. He will also use the treasures, and resources in the 9-layer building to assist in comprehending the Yuan Dao, which can improve the effect of comprehension. 100 million years of the original era. A billion years of the original era. 10 billion years of the original era. Yi Tian has been cultivating hard, and nothing major has happened recently. Before he knew it, Yi Tian had worked hard for more than 30 billion years of the original era. Such long years of ascetic cultivation and enlightenment have allowed Yi Tian to develop many Taos that are comparable to the ultimate Yuan Dao. These Dao are derived from the endless Yuan Dao and are attached to the endless Yuan Dao, but each one is incomparably powerful. In the beginning, it is really difficult to comprehend, but in the later stage, it is much easier to derive these Taos. It's just that the derivation of Wan Dao is only the easiest step, and from Wan Dao, the infinite Dao is derived. This is the most difficult step. And now, Yi Tian is trying this step. Many primitive ancestors of the 8th layer have cultivated for endless years, and their cultivation has risen to the peak of the primitive ancestor of the 8th layer. Cut off the yellow building. In a space-time, Yi Tian sat cross-legged, and the endless power of the Tao continued to evolve around the surrounding space-time. At this moment, Yi Tian seems to have transformed into the incarnation of the endless Yuan Tao, and every particle of his body has turned into a part of the endless Yuan Tao, and they are constantly evolving. He tried to derive a breath of immeasurable Tao from many Taos. And this step made Yi Tian comprehend more than 50 billion years of the original era, and finally let Yi Tian first glimpse the breath of immeasurable Tao. At this moment, Yi Tian derived a trace of the power of the rudimentary form of immeasurable Tao from the myriad Tao. It's done. Yi Tian was extremely excited. Although he only understood the power of the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao, he finally stepped into this level and had the qualification to strengthen the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao. Moreover, after comprehending the embryonic form of the infinite Tao, one only needs to silently comprehend it, and finally one can comprehend the true infinite Tao. Boom boom boom. In a special time and space in the 9-story building, Yi Tian is constantly experimenting with his Supreme Yuan Tao control skills here. At this time, his Supreme Yuan Tao control skills have been improved, and his power has increased greatly. Sure enough, just comprehending the prototype of the infinite Tao and blessing it on the Supreme Yuan Tao control skills will make the power of these Supreme Yuan Tao control skills skyrocket. Yi Tian said excitedly. At this moment, his strength has improved a lot, which is faster than improving his cultivation and improving his combat power. In these tens of billions of primitive eras, he has also been improving his cultivation, but his cultivation is still in the early stage of the eightfold primordial ancestor, and his life level has improved a bit, but it is still far less than the combat power of comprehending the rudiment of the infinite Tao. But soon, Yi Tian discovered a problem, that is, those treasures or resources in the 9-layer building that help to speed up the realization of Yuan Tao cannot be useful for him to realize the prototype of infinite Tao. It seems that those places and treasure resources are too low level for the prototype of the infinite Tao, but there must be places or treasures suitable for comprehending the prototype of the infinite Tao in the 9-story building. Yi Tian thought to himself. So, he went to investigate. For flowers. Soon, Yi Tian learned from Tao ancestor Weijian that even in the 9-layered building, there were not many treasures suitable for Tao ancestor to comprehend the rudiment of infinite Tao. Moreover, those treasure places have quota restrictions. After all, even if those treasure places can allow Taoist ancestors to comprehend the prototype of the immeasurable Tao, they will still cause certain damage to those treasure places after a long time of comprehension. In order to ensure the permanent existence of those treasures, it is necessary to limit the number of places to enter the enlightenment. Moreover, even if you go to enlightenment, you need to spend millions of points. Even if Yi Tian has a lot of points, with his current background, he will not be able to understand for a long time. Changbai Mountain, Black Cloud Ancient World, the City of Clouds. These are the 3 treasures of the 9 layers building for the ancestors of the 8 layers to comprehend. But now there are no vacant places, Yi Tian can't get in even if he has points. Infinite Tao Ancestor, you inquired about the treasure land of comprehension and enlightenment. Could it be that you have already made the infinite Tao prototype? Ju Sword Daozu asked. Yes, Yi Tian nodded and said. You comprehend the prototype of the infinite Tao too fast. Ju Sword Daozu was shocked. It must be known that even he only realized the prototype of the immeasurable Tao after he became the half-step 9-fold original ancestor, and it took countless years and countless resources and treasures, and the price paid is unimaginable. Until now, he has not really understood the infinite Tao, but he is not far from comprehending the true infinite Tao, the prototype of the Dacheng level infinite Tao. But Yi Tian so quickly comprehended the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao, even though he had only just comprehended it initially, it was still terrifying. Suddenly, Zhu Jian Dao Ancestor said, Infinite Tao Ancestor, if you want to speed up the comprehension of the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao, you can cut off a treasure in the Montenegro, where you can speed up the comprehension of the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao, but the effect is mediocre. For me, as far as the Taoist ancestors are concerned, it has no effect. And there will be some dangers that interfere with your own enlightenment, and you need a Taoist guardian or a clone to guard. You only realize the prototype of the immeasurable Tao, and that place is suitable for you. Afterwards, Ju Sword Dao Ancestor told Yi Tian Corpse the location of the treasure. Chapter 2249 The Decision of Shidaoshan. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Truncated Montenegro. Yi Tian's copy body came out directly from the truncated yellow building, and went deep into the truncated black mountain along the truncated black mountain. At this moment, he did not carefully avoid the powerful primitive antiquities as he did in the past. The most powerful primitive antiquities in the general area of Montenegro are only the realm of the 7-layer primitive ancestor, and there is not even a half-step 8-layer primitive ancestor level. Therefore, as long as Yi Tian does not cut off the depths of Montenegro, he will not encounter any great danger. Along the way, Yi Tian did not encounter the slightest trouble. Even if some primitive antiquities occasionally attacked him, they were instantly killed by him. It didn't take long for Yi Tian to finally arrive at the treasured place that Ju Sword Dao ancestor said. This place is located in a relatively deep position in the truncation of Montenegro, but it is naturally far from the place where the original ancestors of the 9 layers fell. The dense red, 187, stones were fixed in this space and time, and the countless red stones radiated red light and dyed this area red. And among these countless red stones stood a red mountain, and around the red mountain stood dozens of Taoist ancestors. These Taoist ancestors are basically at the peak of the eightfold primitive ancestor, and they are all practicing here at the moment. At this time, Yi Tian entered this area. According to the Daozu of Weijian, this red mountain can allow the Tao ancestors to comprehend the prototype of the immeasurable Tao. However, the Tao ancestors cannot enter this mountain, and can only practice and comprehend around the mountain. Yi Tian muttered. Unexpected. Some red primitive antiquities appeared inside a red stone around, attacking Yi Tian. Yi Tian blew up these primitive relics at will, but after these primitive relics were killed, the energy was absorbed by this time and space again. These primitive antiquities are not strong, and the strongest are comparable to the half-step 8-fold primitive ancestors, but when they attack, they must be killed, otherwise, there is no way to feel at ease. Moreover, the frequency of the birth of these primitive antiquities is very high, and a group of primitive antiquities will attack every once in a while. These primitive antiquities are killed, the energy is absorbed by this time and space, and then new primitive antiquities are nurtured, which will never be killed. Therefore, there must be a guardian responsible for cleaning up these primitive antiquities, so that you can feel at ease and cultivate. So, Yi Tian temporarily left for a while, copied a body, and came here again. In this way, he has 2 bodies, one to practice here, and the other to clean up primitive relics. And the other Ye ancestors saw his 2 bodies, and they would only think that it was a clone. Although the avatars of the eightfold ancestor are rare, there are still some Taoist ancestors, so it is not surprising. Next, Yi Tian found a place around the red mountain peak and began to comprehend the prototype of the infinite Tao. Under this strange force field, Yi Tian found that his understanding and perception of the prototype of the infinite Tao had improved a lot. Cultivating in such a treasure land is much faster than practicing alone. What a powerful effect, Yi Tian said excitedly. However, even with such a good effect, Weijian Daozu said that it was average, and it was useful to Daozu who had just realized the prototype of immeasurable Tao, but was useless to Daozu like Weijian Daozu. It is estimated that I am able to comprehend the prototype of the infinite Tao very quickly, so the effect here will be better for me. While other people's comprehension of the prototype of the infinite Tao is almost stagnant, even with the help here, the effect is still not obvious, so I feel not much use here. Yi Tian didn't think too much, he felt that this place was very helpful to him, so he could practice here for the time being. In the silent Black Sea, the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao is divided into the entry, the small achievement, the great achievement and the peak, until the infinite Tao is truly understood. Yi Tian's goal this time is not high, it is enough to raise the prototype of the infinite Tao to the realm of small achievement. As the long years passed, Yi Tian continued to comprehend the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao here. His understanding of the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao became deeper and deeper, and the aura of the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao on his body became stronger and stronger. At this time, the other powerhouses at the peak of the 8th layer primordial ancestor noticed Yi Tian's progress, and they were all shocked. Some Taoist ancestors even secretly investigated Yi Tian's identity, and this investigation was immediately shocked. In their opinion, Yi Tian's experience is amazing, and the speed of growth can be called the first ancestor of the silent Black Sea today, which is comparable to those reincarnated top 8 ancestors. But there are various indications that Yi Tian is unlikely to be the reincarnated top 8 original ancestor. Then the biggest possibility is only one: Yi Tian is an incomparably enchanting peerless genius, and it is difficult for one to be born in hundreds of trillions of years. 10 Mountains. At this time, the 2 9 ancestors were discussing Yi Tian. One is the Wushu Daozu in the late stage of the Zhouzhang Yuanzu, and the other is the Haoyang Daozu at the peak of the Zhouzhang Yuanzu. There is nothing wrong, a very enchanting genius was born in the 9 layers building. He cultivated to the 8th layer primitive ancestor realm in a short period of time. He was suspected to have raised his life level to 9.9 when he was in the 7th layer primordial ancestor realm. I received it before, some of his information, but he didn't pay much attention. Now, he has become the original ancestor of the 8th layer, and he has already realized the prototype of the immeasurable Tao. Said Daozu Haoyang. Are you sure the other party has raised the life level to 9.9? Wushu Daozu said solemnly. The possibility is very high. After all, this genius raised his life level to 9.8 in a short period of time, and then entered the 9th level world of the 9th level building, but it didn't take long for him to come out and hit the 7th level ancestor successfully. Normally, with such a short training time, if he hadn't raised his life level to 9.9, he wouldn't have chosen to make a breakthrough so quickly. Everyone knows that the life level of 9.8 and 9.9 in the half-step 7th level ancestors realm seems to be only a little bit, but in the future, the gap will be huge. Very big. Then the biggest possibility is that he has reached the 9.9 life level. Unfortunately, such a genius, Zhou Zhongguo must have blocked the deduction early, and we can't deduce whether he has risen to the 9.9 life level at that time. We can only rely on guesswork. Said Haoyang Daozu. 3. Wushu Daozu asked, are you trying to kill the opponent? But such a genius must have his body in the Zhou Zhongguo, and even given a life-saving thing, it's not easy to kill. 5.9 inches. Haoyang Dao ancestor said. In the Black Mountain, 2 endless Dao ancestors have been found, and it is very likely that they are the original body or clone of this genius. This time is an excellent opportunity, maybe he can be killed. What if both of them are clones? Wushu Daozu said. That doesn't matter, just give it a try. Let a half-step 9-layer primitive ancestor take action, kill the opponent, and run away immediately. Haoyang Daozu suggested. Let who go? Wushu Daozu asked. Daozu Haoyang pondered for a while and finally made a decision. Let Jiwu Daozu go. His escape ability can be rated as the top 10 of the half-step Zhouzhong Yuanzu, and his life-saving ability is very strong. Even if he encounters an ordinary Zhouzhong Yuanzu, he has the hope of escaping. Haoyang Daozu said. Wushu Daozu nodded and agreed with Haoyang Daozu's proposal. Chapter 2250 Squeeze to death a half-step 9-fold ancestor. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Soon, Shadao Mountain's Jiwu Daozu got the order to cut off Montenegro immediately. Not long after, he came to the treasure land where Yitian was. Although there are many powerhouses at the peak of the 8th level ancestors, there are even the peaks of the 9-level ancestors. However, as long as he is fast, these 8-fold original ancestor peak Taoist ancestors can't stop him. With my strength, I should be able to instantly be an endless Taoist in the early stages of the 8-fold primordial stage. Jiwu Taoist thought to himself. So, he was ready to start. Soon, he approached Yitian with a hidden immeasurable Tao control technique. He felt that it was impossible for Yitian to perceive his existence, even a half-step 9-layer primordial ancestor like the 9-layer Tower Zhujian Dao ancestor would be difficult to detect his existence. However, what he didn't know was that he had been discovered by Yitian. Yitian's copying talent has been activated all the time. At this moment, he feels that something is approaching him, although the other party is hiding so deeply that even the copying talent cannot be directly spied on. 29 The talent can be copied, but it can know that there is a creature approaching, but it can't penetrate the other party to check the talent information. Therefore, Yitian immediately notified the Sword Master Daozu. Although he is not worried about the fall of his 2 bodies, if all of them fall, others will know that he has multiple bodies, which will undoubtedly greatly reduce his life-saving ability. I wonder if the golden shuttle of time and space can save my life. Yitian motivated the golden shuttle of time and space that had been awarded to him by the 9-story building. This treasure can allow him to shuttle back to the 9-story building, and it also comes with a layer of shield. But he didn't know how the shield's defense was. At the moment when the opponent was about to shoot, Yitian directly motivated the golden shuttle of time and space. In an instant, the space-time golden shuttle is connected to the Zhouzhong building and wants to take him back. However, the time-space golden shuttle in the 9-story building is indeed a very good original Taoist treasure, but unfortunately it can't save your life. Jiwu Dao ancestor also motivated a forbidden primitive Dao treasure, directly suppressing the golden shuttle of time and space, and he struck with all his strength, displaying his own infinite Dao control skill, Jiwu sword. Boom! The Jiwu sword directly penetrated the shield of the golden shuttle of time and space, and shattered one of Yi Tian's cloned bodies, turning it into nothingness. Not dead yet. Jiwu Daozu does not panic. One sword can't kill him, then the second sword will come. But at this moment, the time and space around him solidified, and even he was suppressed by a mysterious force. Ninefold Ancestor. Ancestor Jiwu was stunned. How could the original ancestor of the 9 layers come so quickly? Even if Yi Tian asked for help, he couldn't come here so quickly with the speed of the ancestor of the 9 layers. Unless there was a Zhejiang primordial ancestor to cut off Montenegro, and Yi Tian asked for help in advance, would he hope to come so quickly? Escape. He stopped attacking. Because under the immeasurable Dao domain of the 9-fold ancestor, he could not kill Yi Tian, unless his boundless Dao could smash the immeasurable domain of the 9-fold ancestor, but that is impossible. A piece of escaping treasures plus his own escaping boundless control skills, as long as the Zhejiang Yuanzu is not too strong, he has the hope of escaping. But soon, he was desperate. Stone Chaos Daozu. He saw the figure of the original ancestor of the 9 layers and recognized it. This is clearly the terrifying existence that ranks at the peak of the ancestors of the 9 layers in the 9-layer building. It is the ancestor of the 9 layers whose life level has broken more than 100, the strength can be ranked in the top 20. Such an existence actually appeared here, let alone him. Even if he instantly broke through the cultivation base and reached the realm of the 9 ancestors, he would not be able to escape. I saw that he did all the means of escape, but his body still didn't move a single bit, and the whole person seemed to be frozen. Next moment, a big hand grabbed it and directly crushed Jiwu Dao ancestor. At this point, this half-step 9-fold ancestor was directly killed. At this time, although Yi Tian's other duplicate body did not fall, it was also in his hands, and the original Taobao space-time golden shuttle was seriously damaged. Thank you Shizhuan Daozu. Yi Tian thanked. Shizhuan Daozu glanced at Yi Tian and said, cultivation well. Immediately, he left without saying much. In fact, Shizhuan Daozu appeared here, and he was also very shocked. But not long after, he learned the truth from Weijian Daozu. It turned out that he was cultivating here, and the 2 duplicate bodies were together, so Zhejianglo judged that there would be an attack. Coupled with the special nature of Truncate Montenegro, Shizhuan Daozu stayed in the depths of Truncate Yellow Tower in Truncate Montenegro. After all, at the level of Shi Chaos Daozu, the room for improvement is too small, so it is nothing to waste a little time. Coincidentally, Yi Tian urged the golden shuttle of time and space in advance and asked for help, so Shi Chaos Daozu could arrive instantly. 10 mountains. The silence has disappeared, it is Yang Dao Huo. A half-step 9-layer primitive ancestor who is good at escaping and has top combat power is also an extremely important combat power for Shidao Mountain. Although Jiwu Daozu has no potential to be promoted to the 9-fold ancestor, his value is no less than a 9-fold ancestor, and he was killed by Shizhuan Daozu. I made a mistake this time, I didn't expect that fellow Shizhuan Daozu would cut off the yellow tower. Wushu Daozu sighed. No way, the other party is hiding in the cut-off Wanglo. No matter how much we investigate, we can't find it. We can only say that Jiwu Daozu is too unlucky. Fortunately, Jiwu Daozu is one of the secret forces of our Shidao Mountain. Zhejianglo can't find out the identity of Jiwu Daozu, otherwise Zhejianglo will have to trouble us. Haoyang Daozu said. Then continue to assassinate the endless Daozu. Wushu Daozu asked. Haoyang Daozu shook his head. No, I can't do it for the time being. Shizhuan Daozu is nearby, the risk is too great, even the Zhejiang Yuanzu is not safe. 1. Then don't do anything to the endless Dao ancestor for the time being, just wait for the opportunity. Wushu Daozu also nodded. After such a thing, the other top powers originally wanted to attack Yi Tian, but they all gave up at this moment. And Yi Tian also ushered in more long years of ascetic cultivation, and his own understanding of the prototype of the infinite Dao became deeper and deeper. Finally, on this day after the 90 billion yuan era, he finally raised the prototype of the infinite Dao to the realm of Shaocheng. After the rudimentary form of the infinite Dao reached the realm of small achievement, the effect of this red mountain peak on Yi Tian was not as great as before, but it was still very good. Therefore, Yi Tian continued to practice here. Before you know it, billions of years of the original era have passed. This day, the red mountain suddenly vibrated, and a gap opened immediately. Chapter 2251 The will is transformed. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. What happened? Yi Tian looked at the red mountain in front of him in shock, showing a look of surprise. The other Ye ancestors also noticed the situation of the red mountain, and they did not know why. Some of the Ye ancestors were a little worried and prepared to retreat. After all, if something goes wrong and you are in danger, wouldn't it be very dangerous if you stay here? Unexpected. Some red substances permeated the red peaks, and these substances formed a red mist that spread out. Shish. One by one, the ancestors of the 8 layers retreated, daring not to touch these red substances. Although they sensed that these red substances were not easy, they naturally wouldn't risk touching them when they didn't know whether it was good or bad. Although Yi Tian was not afraid of danger, he did not deliberately attract the attention of others, so he also retreated. In the depths of the truncated yellow building, Shizhuan Daozu's eyes passed through the truncated black mountain and looked towards the red peak. It seems that there has been a change in the truncated restricted area, and a gap has been cracked. This red substance should be the red light of the split soul. 1. Shizhuan Daozu murmured. He has never entered the truncation forbidden area in the depths of the truncation mountain range, but there have been clones of the original ancestor of the 9 layers. For example, the soul-splitting red light is ubiquitous in the cut-off restricted area, and there are many places in this kind of soul-splitting red light. This kind of soul-splitting red light can erode the will of Daozu. If the will is not strong, it will not last long. Even the half-step 9 level ancestor can't last long under the erosion of the soul-splitting red light. Once it is eroded by the soul-splitting red light for too long, the half-step 9 level ancestor will fall. Of course, if you persist, your will be improved, or even transformed. However, doing so is too dangerous. This soul-splitting red light has leaked a little bit. These Tao ancestors can absorb a little bit of tempering their own will. If they can't hold on, they can retreat. If they are in the restricted area, they can't retreat even if they want to. Shizhuan Daozu murmured. He didn't have the past. After all, even if he did, he wouldn't dare to enter the restricted area through the crack, and the red light of the split soul was useless to him. So, after he notified those Taoist ancestors, he stopped paying attention. Soul-splitting red light. Yi Tian now knew the origin of this red mist from the Zhouzhangglow, and it turned out to be from the forbidden area in the depths of time and space in the truncated mountain range. According to the statement given by the Zhouzhangglow, the red light of the split soul will erode the will, and if the erosion is too serious, the half-step Zhouzhang ancestor will fall. But if you persist, your will increase. Maybe this is an opportunity to greatly improve my will. Yi Tian muttered. At this time, due to the existence of the soul-splitting red light, those 8-fold ancestors could not cultivate. After all, even the entire red mountain peak was covered by the soul-splitting red light, so they could not get close. And these 8-fold ancestors dare not absorb the red light of the split soul, otherwise, if the will is damaged, it will take a long time to recover. As a result, these 8-fold ancestors left one by one, but a few of the 8-fold ancestors tried to absorb the red light of the split soul, but each one's face was distorted and they ran away after not holding on for long. Unknowingly, Yi Tian, an 8th level ancestor, was left here. Try it. Yi Tian came to crack soul red light and reached out to touch it. Soul-splitting red light invaded Yi Tian's will along his arm. Immediately, an unimaginable pain struck, but Yi Tian felt that it was okay. After all, he often endured the pain caused by copying talent, so he was not afraid of this pain. Under the erosion of the soul-splitting red light, his will continued to collapse, but some particles of will that did not collapse seemed to be strengthened a little. In this way, Yi Tian kept insisting, even if his will collapsed, he did not choose to leave here. With the passage of time, Yi Tian's will gradually collapsed completely, and his body began to crack and shatter. Just before this body was completely scrapped, he left here, and then found a place with no one to annihilate this cloned body, and then copied another cloned body and came here again to practice. In this way, others will only suspect that he has the means to quickly restore his will, and it is absolutely unexpected that he has changed his body. In the following days, Yi Tian sacrificed his duplicate body again and again to exercise his will. In this way, his will is getting stronger and stronger, not only in quantity but also in quality. Originally, Yi Tian's will was only comparable to the ordinary peak of the 8th level ancestor. Compared with the will of the 8th level ancestor of the 9-level building, it was far worse. But now, his will is gradually catching up with the Taoist ancestors of the late 8th level ancestors of the 9-fold building, and even gradually catching up with the Taoist ancestors at the peak of the 8th level ancestors of the 9-fold building. Not only that, his will is of higher quality, gradually approaching the quality of the will of the half-step 9-fold original ancestor. Yi Tian's madness to temper his will naturally attracted the attention of Shi Chaos Tao ancestor. However, he is not interested in spying on the secrets of a junior, only thinks that Yi Tian is very good and has high potential. Moreover, with the existence of Shi Chaos Dao Ancestor, other forces would not dare to deal with Yi Tian, so Yi Tian can use the red light of splitting soul here to exercise his will with peace of mind. Before he knew it, Yi Tian had already practiced here for 100 billion yuan. In such a long time, Yi Tian's other copy body has greatly improved the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao. Although it has not yet reached the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao, it is much stronger than the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao. In addition, Yi Tian's will has improved too much, and has formed a qualitative change. This day, Yi Tian's will has completed the real transformation, getting money and Zhao, although it is not comparable to the half-step 9 level ancestor in quantity, but qualitatively it is comparable to the half-step 9 level ancestor. My will is about to touch the will of measure. Yi Tian muttered. The will of the ninefold ancestor is the immeasurable will. Once the immeasurable will is formed and the immeasurable Tao is understood, the immeasurable will and the immeasurable Tao can be combined to form the immeasurable Tao domain power unique to the Zhejiang primitive ancestor. Under the immeasurable Tao realm, even the half-step 9-layer primitive ancestor has no resistance and will be easily suppressed. Just like that lonesome Taoist ancestor, under the immeasurable Taoist realm of Shijuan Taoist ancestor, he couldn't even move. This is the terror of the infinite Tao domain. Although Yi Tian is still a long way from condensing the infinite Tao domain, but if he comprehends the true infinite Tao in the 8th layer primitive ancestor realm, and condenses the infinite will, then he can form a weakened infinite Tao domain. Yi Tian is looking forward to this. Chapter 2252 Soul-Splitting Red Beast, copy. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Since the Red Mountain cracked a gap, the growth rate of the truncated district boundary has soared a lot, and a large number of resource treasures have been born, and one district after another has been nurtured. A large number of ancient nests have emerged, and they have already reached the scale of the boundary of the vast sea, and they are still changing. For this situation, many Taoist ancestors are very confused and have no idea what happened. But Yi Tian vaguely knew some reasons. It should be that the source of the boundary of the vast sea region brought more substances from the depths of the truncation of the Black Mountains. The crack of the Red Peak is one of the signs. These substances accelerate the transformation of the boundary of the truncated region. I am afraid that it will not be long before the boundary of the truncated region is enough. It is comparable to the Zon level region boundary. Yi Tian muttered. In the following days, more and more Tao ancestors came to the cutoff area and settled here. Anyone can see that the future of the cutoff area is not ordinary, so if you come here first and occupy a piece of land, you can get more benefits. Yi Tian did not participate in the competition for resources in the cutoff area. For him, there are not many resources that are helpful to him in the current truncation zone. Unless the truncation zone can grow to the level of the top zone level zone 187 or the prefecture level zone, there will be enough resources for him. Very helpful resource. Today, Yi Tian is still staying in front of the crack in the Red Mountain Peak, using the soul-splitting red light to temper his will. But with the passage of time, the effect of splitting the soul red light is not enough. Yi Tian has the idea of wanting to enter the restricted area through this gap. The truncation of the restricted area is very dangerous. If the Zhejiang Yuanzu enters it, he will die. I am afraid that if I enter it, I will also die. However, if you don't try it, you are not reconciled. Maybe you can survive. Yi Tian thought to himself. Just go through this crack, this is also the easiest way to enter the restricted area. Yi Tian decided. Immediately, he walked towards the crack of the Red Mountain. If it was before, he would not be able to enter the Red Mountain at all, but with the addition of a crack in the Red Mountain, the imprisonment in the dark will be torn apart, and it can be extended from this crack. As he continued to advance, Yi Tian's body was suppressed by a force, the speed became slower and slower, and the pressure on his body became stronger and stronger. Finally, Yi Tian still passed the crack and came to the restricted area. CJFJ. The area entering from the crack of the Red Mountain is red, and the concentration of the cracked soul red light is many times that of the outside world, and the special effect of truncating the forbidden area is added. Even if Yi Tian's will is very close to the boundless will, he still can't bear the red light of the split soul here. Boom! The soul-splitting red light instantly drowned Yi Tian's will, and his entire body was shattered. It can be said that with Yi Tian's strength, entering the forbidden area was annihilated in just a split second. One can imagine how terrifying the danger here is. According to what Zhou Zhonglo said, the area where the red light of the split soul is located is only the most common area to truncate the restricted area. I can't even handle the most common area, let alone explore the restricted area. At this moment, Yi Tian truly realized the terror of cutting off the restricted area. No wonder even the ancestors of the 9 layers didn't dare to come in and explore. After this replica body fell, Yi Tian did not give up trying. He didn't make any preparations just now, so he was annihilated in an instant. Next, stack up the defense, and then enter the truncation penalty area to see. Immediately, Yi Tian stacked up his defenses and entered the restricted area again. As soon as he entered the interception penalty area, Yi Tian quickly shuttled. However, the various defenses on his body kept collapsing, and the defensive treasures vanished into nothingness. In just a few breaths, Yi Tian's will was eroded away, and his body began to collapse. But just before Yi Tian's will was completely lost, his copying talent actually spied on a red creature, similar to a red beetle. The duplicate body has fallen. Yi Tian didn't feel any loss, instead he was very happy. Therefore, he found a creature that survived in the red light of the split soul, the red beast of the split soul. Cracked Soul Red was once a special creature, born in the Cracked Soul Red light, and possessed a special Yuan Dao ancestral Fu, Cracked Soul Ancestral Fu. Yi Tian has successfully copied this ancestral Fu, and quickly merged it into his own Yuan Dao ancestral Fu. I don't know if this soul-splitting ancestor ability can let me resist the soul-splitting red light for a while. Yi Tian secretly said. In fact, he wanted to copy a soul-splitting red beast, but the soul-splitting red beast he saw absolutely possessed the cultivation of the half-step 9 level ancestor, so he could not make a copy. After possessing the soul-splitting ancestral gift, Yi Tian entered the soul-splitting red light area and found that the soul-splitting red light's erosion of the will was much lessened, but the tempering effect did not decrease. Sure enough, it can reduce erosion, Yi Tian said with great excitement. Immediately, he entered the truncation penalty area again. Cut off the restricted area. Yi Tian entered here once again, and when he just came in, not only the defenses were fully stacked, but he also opened the soul-splitting ancestor Fu. In an instant, the soul-splitting ancestral Fu has exerted its effect, and the red soul-splitting red light that has been strong so far cannot erode Yi Tian's will in a few breaths. However, he is not a soul-splitting red beast after all, so he is still unable to completely resist the soul-splitting red light. As time passed, his will was still breaking down, but at least he could hold on for a while longer. You have to find a soul-splitting red beast in the early stage of the eightfold primitive ancestor, that would be perfect. So, Yi Tian is working hard for this goal. But soon, he was unlucky enough to encounter a soul-splitting red beast with a very terrifying strength. Next, Yi Tian tried again and again, and the duplicate body fell again and again, but after dozens of attempts, he finally got lucky and sensed a slightly smaller red beast. This soul-splitting red beast is equivalent to the soul-splitting red beast in the early stage of the eightfold primordial ancestor, and Yi Tian can make it. It's done, then you can copy the soul-splitting red beast and enter the restricted area. As the soul-splitting red beast, those red soul-splitting beasts shouldn't attack me, so I can stay in the restricted area. Yi Tian murmured. Road. Copy. Not long after, a soul-splitting red beast was copied by Yi Tian, then threw it into the red mountain peak, and entered the truncation restricted area toward the crack. Soon, Yi Tian entered the truncation penalty area as a soul-splitting red beast. Although there is suppression, the red light of the split soul will not erode me. Yi Tian muttered. Although this can't activate the tempering effect, he can explore this area, this is the most important. It should be that the body of the soul-shattering red beast is immune to the soul-shattering red light. This kind of soul-shattering red light can't even corrode the body, and naturally it can't erode the inside of the will. 1. Yi Tian thought to himself. Chapter 2253. The will has skyrocketed, and a lot of soul-shattering red crystals have been harvested. Yi Tian explored the soul-splitting red light area with the body of the splitting red beast. Although he encountered some red beasts, he was not attacked. Sure enough, these soul-splitting red beasts didn't attack me. Yi Tian said excitedly. These soul-splitting red beasts don't seem to have much wisdom, and they don't communicate with each other very much, which also reduces the risk of being discovered by Yi Tian's soul-splitting red beast body. With the passage of time, Yi Tian gradually discovered that this area has actually nurtured good things. For example, on this day, he discovered a red spar. What is this? Yi Tian didn't find the use of this red spar at first, and he didn't know it either. Even if it is the 9-story building, it is impossible to know all the materials and resources. Many unknown resources need to be discovered by themselves before they can know their true use. And this red spar is undoubtedly an unknown resource. Afterwards, Yi Tian dug a little red spar in this area, and then brought it out to study the use of this red spar by his own copy body. Even if it was harmful, he would not worry. After a long time of research and testing, Yi Tian finally knew the effect of this red spar. This red spar can actually temper the will and improve the quality of the will. Yi Tian was extremely shocked. It can be said that the red spar is very gentle compared to the crystal of the soul-shattering red light, and the erosion of the will is very weak. After possessing the soul-splitting ancestral gift, the red spar would hardly do him any harm, only the benefit of tempering and enhancing his will. If I get enough red spar, I can even improve my will tempering to the level of infinite will. When Yi Tian thought of this, his heart was extremely excited. Boundless will, even he was not sure that he could condense it in the eightfold ancestor realm, because the difficulty is really too great. Although his current will is close to the immeasurable will, it is actually far, far away. Even if it is really only one step away, it is a world of difference. Now, with the body of the soul-splitting red beast and the discovery of this red spar, he has great hope of raising his will to the limitless will. The next step is to collect this red spar. This kind of red spar is the crystal of the energy variant of the soul-shattering red light, so it's called the soul-shattering red crystal. 1. Yi Tian muttered, cut off the restricted area, split the soul red light area. Yi Tian searched carefully, more and more soul-splitting red crystals on his body. However, the soul-shattering red crystal is also helpful to the soul-shattering red beast, but the effect is not to temper the will. Strictly speaking, the soul-splitting red beast is not the path of a cultivator, so without the will of a cultivator, there is no such thing as an infinite will. But the soul-shattering red beast has a soul, and this soul-shattering red crystal can strengthen the soul, temper the bloodline, and improve the cultivation base. Therefore, the soul-splitting red beast would also look for this kind of soul-splitting red crystal, which made Yi Tian difficult to collect. However, there are not many soul-splitting red beasts, and their intelligence is very low, and the degree of utilization of the soul-splitting red crystal is lower, so they will eat it when they see it, and will not specifically look for it. Otherwise, with his strength, he will not be able to compete with other soul-splitting red beasts here. Every once in a while, Yi Tian will send out a batch of soul-splitting red crystals, lest this replica body accidentally fall, resulting in the loss of the soul-splitting red crystals on the body, then it will be a big loss. And Yi Tian refines these soul-shattering red crystals in the outside world, and constantly uses these soul-shattering red crystals to improve his will. Gradually, Yi Tian's will became stronger and stronger, even surpassing many half-step 9-level ancestors. In the blink of an eye, the long years passed, and Yi Tian's will was raised to the level where he was almost unable to advance. At this time, he knew that he had reached the limit of his current will, and if he went further, he would have infinite will. Yi Tian knows that it is very difficult to overcome this shackle and condense boundless will, and it is not easy to break this shackle. Even if the effect of split soul red crystal is very good, but if you want to break this shackle, I am afraid that you will need a huge amount of split soul red crystal. Continue to collect soul-cracked red crystals first, wait until enough soul-cracked crimson crystals are collected, and then break the shackles of will in one breath, and condense countless wills. 1. Yi Tian planned so. This day, Yi Tian's soul-splitting red beast was slowly exploring the soul-splitting red light area. At this time, he had come to a farther area. After all, the soul-splitting red crystal could not be found in the nearby area. And if he wants to obtain a massive amount of soul-splitting red crystal, he can only go deep into the soul-splitting red light area. Ask for flowers. Unexpected. Yi Tian found a large number of soul-splitting red beasts, and this number exceeded the number of soul-splitting red beasts he had seen before. Soul-splitting red beast lair. Yi Tian secretly said. Moreover, this soul-shattering red beast lair seems to be in a soul-shattering red crystal mine, because he sensed the extremely rich soul-shattering red crystal aura. Should be able to infiltrate this lair. Yi Tian thought to himself. Immediately, he tried to enter the mountain range, but he was not blocked. Obviously, this soul-shattering red beast lair allows foreign soul-shattering red beasts to come in. So, Yi Tian just mixed into this soul-splitting red beast lair. Afterwards, Yi Tian discovered that this red soul-splitting red beast's lair is very powerful. There are at least 10 soul-splitting red beasts that are comparable to the 9-level ancestor level, and there are about 100 soul-splitting red beasts at the half-step 9-level ancestor level. Individual. At this scale, the powers of Fang Jihai and Shidaoshan are the top powers like Lu and Shidaoshan, but they are also very terrifying. In addition, the soul-splitting red beast of the 9-fold ancestor level has not weak intelligence, and has formulated a series of rules. For example, it is not allowed to excavate the nearby soul-cracked red crystal, otherwise, if the soul-cracked crimson crystal is excavated, it will be more difficult for the clansman to be born in the soul-cracked red beast's lair. Therefore, those 9-level ancestors completely restricted the excavation of this soul-splitting red crystal under the lair. However, there is no limit to the excavation of soul-cracked red crystal in other places. For example, in an area not far away, there are some small ore veins of soul-shattering red crystal, but there are not many soul-shattering red beasts to dig. After all, they are not very intelligent. Even if they know that soul-shattering red crystal is a good thing, it is impossible to take the initiative to cultivate, promote. So, this is cheap Yi. He went to those small soul-shattering red crystal ore veins, took the initiative to dig, and collected a large number of soul-shattering red crystals. Fortunately, these soul-splitting red crystals are not helpful to the 10 or so ancestral soul-splitting red crystals, so they will not compete for the soul-splitting red crystals here, otherwise I am not qualified to dig. Yi Tian muttered. After collecting enough soul-shattering red crystals, Yi Tian secretly left and sent these soul-shattering red crystals out. After several consecutive attempts, Yi Tian had already collected a massive amount of soul-splitting red crystal. Corpse. Chapter 2254 condenses boundless will. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. I thought it would take a long time and even some difficulties to collect so many soul-splitting red crystals, but it turned out to be so easy to collect. Yi Tian felt that there were too many resources in the restricted area, and they were extremely precious. However, this is also because the ancestors of the 9 layers did not dare to enter the restricted area, and he copied the red soul-shattering crystals so that he could obtain so many soul-shattering red crystals. Otherwise, even if he is the original ancestor of the 9 layers, he wouldn't even think about grabbing so many soul-splitting red crystals. It can be said that such an opportunity can only be easily obtained by him. It's time to hit the limitless will realm. Yi Tian decided. Cut off the yellow building. Yi Tian is doing retreat practice here. He put a lot of soul-shattering red crystals around, and then began to absorb the energy of the soul-shattering red crystals. Boom. 187. Massive amount of soul-shattering red crystal energy poured into Yi Tian's will, tempering Yi Tian's will at an incredible speed, and tempering and improving his will again and again. However, in a short period of time, Yi Tian's will still did not improve, at least the quantity did not improve a little bit, but the quality did improve a little bit. And it is this little qualitative improvement that will eventually make his will step into the limitless level of will. Years passed, along with the consumption of a large number of soul-splitting red crystals, Yi Tian's will gradually cross the shackles. Long years have passed. This day, Yi Tian's will finally reached a certain critical point, and under the action of the massive soul-shattering red crystals, the shackles were completely broken. Moreover, Yi Tian's will violently sucked up the massive amount of soul-shattering red crystals, absorbing these soul-shattering red crystals instantly. Click. The shackles in the dark were finally completely broken. At this moment, Yi Tian's will is transforming into an infinite will. Boom. The terrifying boundless will even broke through the formation that cut off the yellow tower and spread to the outside world, causing a shock to cut off an area of Montenegro. Cut off the depths of the yellow building. Shi Zhuan Daozu opened his eyes and looked at the location of Yi Tian with some surprise. This is the place where the little fellow of the endless Daozu retreats. He has condensed infinite will. 1. Shi Chao Daozu was extremely shocked. He admitted that Yi Tian is very evil and his understanding is terrifying. After all, it was not long before he became the original ancestor of the 8th layer, and he realized the prototype of the infinite Tao. This is not just a matter of chance, but his own understanding must be the key. But the cohesion of the boundless will has nothing to do with understanding. At present, on the silent Black Sea, there is only one way to condense the boundless will, and that is to use a large amount of resources to continuously improve the boundless will, and only the massive resources can hope to improve the will to the realm of the eightfold ancestor. In fact, many Taoist ancestors, even the half-step 9-level ancestors of the 9-level building, could not upgrade their wills to infinite wills before entering the 9-level ancestors, mainly because they did not have so many resources to improve their will. Only when they are promoted to the original ancestor of the 9 layers will their will transform into an infinite will at that moment. Of course, it is more difficult to become the 9th level ancestor than to condense the boundless will. Even if there is a monster who can condense the boundless will in the 8th level ancestor, it is not necessarily able to be promoted to the 9th level ancestor. To become the original ancestor of the 9 layers requires qualifications, and condensing the boundless will only requires resources. Where did Endless Tao Ancestor come from so many resources? And even if he was given a lot of resources, the speed of his improvement was too fast. The Daozu of Shi Chaos was extremely curious. He even wanted to know where Yi Tian got so many resources, but after thinking about Yi Tian's boundless will, even if he wanted to spy on Yi Tian, he would be aware of it. Thinking like this, he still didn't plan to spy on Yi Tian. Finally condensed the boundless will. When I comprehend the real boundless Tao, combined with the boundless will, I can turn into the boundless Tao domain. In that case, my strength will reach an incredible improvement, and it will even be comparable to the half-step 9th level. The original ancestor. Yi Tian muttered. After condensing the boundless will, Yi Tian found that the help of the split soul red crystal was almost useless. Obviously, this kind of soul-splitting red crystal is also useful for the will of the infinite will. Although he doesn't need the soul-splitting red crystal, this kind of resource is absolutely incomparably precious, and any ninefold primitive ancestor who encounters it will collect a large amount. You don't need it yourself, but you can use it for your relatives or subordinates. You can also sell it, or exchange it for other precious resources. Then, Yi Tian is still continuing to collect the soul-shattering red crystals, and the collected soul-shattering red crystals are all stored. After condensing immeasurable will, Yi Tian found that he was not afraid of the soul-splitting red light that spread from the crack of the red mountain. Therefore, he can stay in the red light of the split soul. In the following days, Yi Tian's cloned body has been comprehending and practicing near the red mountain peak, comprehending the prototype of the immeasurable Tao. The soul-splitting red beast's body is still looking for resources in the split soul red light area in the restricted area. Before you know it, another tens of billions of years have passed. The red peaks don't have much effect on me. If I continue to comprehend here, it will be difficult to raise the prototype of the infinite Tao. It is almost impossible to rely on this to raise the prototype of the infinite Tao to the realm of great achievement. Yi Tian muttered. Afterwards, he asked again, and there were still no places for the few treasures in the Zhouzhanglo. But, just when Yi Tian felt that he had no hope of going to those precious places, Shizhuan Daozu found Yi Tian. Infinite Tao Ancestor, did you borrow the treasures of the L building to understand the infinite Tao? Bu Dao Ancestor asked. Yes, Yi Tian nodded. At this time, Shizhuan Daozu smiled and said, if you apply for the general eightfold ancestor, it will definitely be no good. Even if you apply for the ninefold ancestor, it will be no good. But you can get 5.9 in the early stage of the eightfold ancestor. With boundless will, I can give you a place to enter Changbai Mountain. Of course, although this place is given to you, you still have to give the points you should give, otherwise I can't explain it to other high-level officials. Thank you Shizhuan Daozu, Yi Tian thanked. Immediately, Yi Tian began to collect points. He wants to practice and comprehend enlightenment in Changbaijian Mountain for a long time, but he doesn't have enough points. In the days that followed, Yi Tian started frantically taking tasks to collect points. Fortunately, his strength is strong enough, so the speed of collecting points will be much faster than other Ye ancestors. He is not in a hurry. After all, the place that Shizhuan Daozu gave him has been reserved, and he can go to Changbai Mountain at any time. Chapter 2255 Kill the Blood Ghost Daozu. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. That's a good job. Yi Tian looked at one of the tasks on the 9 layers building task list and muttered. These quests are all tasks suitable for the original ancestor of the 8th layer, and what he values is the task of killing the peak powerhouse blood ghost Daozu of the original ancestor of the 8th layer. The blood ghost Daozu is the peak powerhouse of the 8th level original ancestor, and he also condensed the existence of the 9th level Yuan Dao, and condensed the 7th level life path flower in the 7th level original ancestor. Although the 7th level Dao flower of life is very ordinary, at least with Dao flower of life, it is much stronger than those Dao ancestors who do not have Dao flower of life. Moreover, in order to have the hope of advancing to the 9th level original ancestor, the blood ghost Taoist deliberately suppressed his Yuan Dao Daohua and only condensed the 7th level Yuan Dao Taoist words. Although doing so will reduce one's combat effectiveness, there is still a glimmer of hope in the future to achieve the 9-fold original ancestor. Even if it is the weakest achievement of the 9-fold original ancestor, it is the 9-fold original ancestor. According to the information from the 9-story building, the blood ghost Dao ancestor, in addition to the 7th layer life Dao flower and the 7th layer Yuan Dao Dao flower, has a very strong will, but he has not reached the limitless will. In addition, whether the blood ghost Dao ancestor has comprehended the prototype of the infinite Dao, it is not very clear, and it is very likely that he has not yet comprehended the prototype of the infinite Dao. The reason why Zhouzhanglo wants to kill the blood ghost Daozu is naturally that the blood ghost Daozu offended Zhouzhanglo, which is why he is weak, and Zhouzhanglo is not so eager to kill him, so he has been allowed to live until now. At present, the blood ghost Daozu hid in an ancient nest, and that ancient nest only allowed the original ancestor of the 8 layers to enter. In addition, he was good at escaping, and his life-saving ability was not weak. Ye Yuanzu, who has the ability to kill him, can't look down on this point, and Ye Yuanzu who has the ability to kill him can't kill him. In other words, Yi Tian just lacked points, so he wanted to take this mission. 500,000 points, although not much, but it's okay. Yi Tian muttered. Immediately, he accepted this task, and then went to the ancient nest where the blood ghost Daozu was located, Fengyang Ancient Nest. Fengyang Ancient Nest. This ancient nest is very large, and there are many primitive antiquities. Many primitive ancestors of the 8 layers like to come to this ancient nest. In a mountain range somewhere in Fengyang Ancient Nest, there is a small space. This space is very special, even the original ancestors of the 8 layers are difficult to find here. This is one of the many strongholds of the blood ghost Daozu. Even if it is discovered, the blood ghost Daozu can leave calmly. Recently, there seems to be no Taoist ancestors coming to kill me in the Zhouzhanglo. I don't know if the Zhouzhanglo has cancelled this task. The blood ghost Daozu murmured. He didn't want to offend the Zhouzhanglo, but he just plundered a treasured place under the Zhouzhanglo. As a result, the Zhouzhanglo blacklisted him and even issued a mission to kill him. Fortunately, he got the news and escaped here as soon as possible, otherwise he would have died long ago. The blood ghost Daozu is honestly cultivating here. Although the cultivation speed is slow and the resources are lacking, as long as he does not fall, he firmly believes that he has the hope of becoming a half-step 9-level ancestor in the future, or even a 9-level ancestor. Even the weakest Zhouzhang Yuanzu has a very high status, and if he takes refuge in a certain top power, Zhouzhanglo would not dare to deal with himself. Even if he only needs to become the ancestor of the half-step Zhouzhang, a top power like Shidaoshan might accept him. However, it is too difficult to become the original ancestor of the half-step ninefold. What's more, it is even more difficult for him to lack resources now. This is Fengyang Ancient Nest, it's really extraordinary. Yi Tian came to this ancient nest and muttered. According to the information from the 9-story building, this Fengyang Ancient Nest is a large-scale ancient nest second only to the super-large ancient nest, and the limit of life it can accommodate is the peak of the 8th layer primitive ancestor. In this ancient nest, Yi Tian felt that with his current strength, he was almost invincible. Next, he only needs to find the blood ghost Daozu. With his copying talent and boundless will, the blood ghost Daozu absolutely could not avoid his investigation. Next, Yi Tian kept looking for traces of the blood ghost Dao ancestor in Fengyang Ancient Nest. Along the way, all the primitive antiquities that hindered him were easily erased by him. Finally, Yi Tian discovered the blood ghost Daozu. Here it is. Yi Tian's immeasurable will passed through a small space and discovered a peak Taoist ancestor of the 8th level original ancestor, and under the prying of the copy talent, the identity of the Taoist ancestor was exposed, and he was a blood ghost Taoist. So, Yi Tian hit with one blow, directly smashing this small space. Boom! The small space was shattered by a blow, and the blood ghost Daozu knew that he had been discovered. In an instant, the blood ghost Dao ancestor sensed Yi Tian outside. Early stage of the eightfold primitive ancestor. The blood ghost Daozu was startled, and he dared to kill him even with this cultivation level. However, the next moment, he was immediately stunned. Boom! The immeasurable will and the prototype of the immeasurable Dao erupted from Yi Tian's body. Although it could not form the immeasurable Dao domain, it could form a pseudo-immeasurable Dao domain, which still brought enormous pressure to the blood ghost Dao ancestor. How is it possible that a Taoist ancestor in the early stage of the eightfold primordial ancestor has realized the prototype of the infinite Tao, and has condensed the infinite will? The blood ghost Daozu was dumbfounded. You must know that it has been countless years since he became the peak of the eightfold primitive ancestor, and so far he has not comprehended the prototype of the infinite Tao, nor has he condensed the infinite will. Moreover, he also knows that these monsters definitely condense the 9-level life Daohua and the 9-level Yuan Daohua, and the combat power of the same level is extremely terrifying. Escape. Blood ghost Daozu knew that he was not Yi Tian's opponent, so he had to escape. However, the gap between him and Yi Tian was too big, and he overestimated his escape ability. Yuan done extreme speed. Yi Tian instantly caught up with the blood ghost Dao ancestor, fighting at close range, hitting the spear with a single blow, and instantly protecting the blood ghost Dao ancestor's 187-layer defense. Puff! The blood ghost Daozu was penetrated by a blow, and the rhythm of escape was interrupted. Next, Yi Tian attacked again and again, until the blood ghost Daozu had no resistance at all, and Yi Tian was also motivated by the heavy imprisoning Yuan Daozu. No matter how subtle it is, it doesn't make sense. Not long after, under another blow, the blood ghost Daozu was finally killed. I can kill a Ye ancestor now. Yi Tian was quite excited. However, his current strength is still a little worse than the half-step nine-fold original ancestor, and when he realizes the true immeasurable way, it will be comparable to the half-step nine-fold original ancestor. After killing the blood ghost Daozu, Yi Tian took the blood ghost Daozu's remnant back to hand in the mission. Soon after, the task was completed and Yi Tian got 500,000 points. And Yi Tian killed the blood ghost Dao ancestor, which was also known by the senior management of the 9 layers building. Suddenly, some high-level executives were extremely shocked. After all, they knew that Yi Tian's cultivation was only in the early stage of the 8th level ancestor, and as a result, he could kill the blood ghost Daozu at the peak of the 8th level ancestor. When you reach the realm of the 8-fold primordial ancestor, it is very difficult to leapfrog and fight, unless it is to torture and kill those very weak 8-fold primordial ancestors, but the blood ghost Daozu is not that kind of spicy chicken Taoist ancestor, but also a Taoist ancestor who has comprehended the 9-fold Yuan Dao. However, this news was blocked by the high level of the 9 layers building, so other forces still do not know the specific combat power of Yi Tian. Chapter 2256 Comprehend the Immeasurable Tao, and the 9-level Supreme Power comes. Open black lens bracket seeking full. In the days that followed, Yi Tian accepted one mission after another, all of which took less time. Fortunately, there are quite a few tasks suitable for the ancestors of the 8th layer. In addition, Yi Tian's efficiency is high enough, so he has more and more points. Over the years, Yi Tian has accumulated tens of millions of points. So many points are enough. I don't believe that 10 million points can't make me realize the real immeasurable way. Yi Tian secretly said. Afterwards, he used the quota given to him by Shi Zhuan Daozu to go to Changbaijian Mountain. Changbaijian Mountain is a white mountain with a special golden light, located in a special secret place in the 9-story building. But in fact, Changbaijian Mountain is not the mountain that was born in that secret place, but comes from the original ancient sea. A long time ago, a protracted war broke out between the silent Black Sea forces such as Zhouzhonglo and the original ancient sea. In the land, such a treasure land is formed. And Changbaijianshan is also a treasure land that is easy to consume, so the number of places has been limited for a long time, otherwise Changbaijianshan would have been scrapped and become an ordinary treasure mountain. Yi Tian had a quota, so he was directly allowed to enter Changbai Mountain. When Yi Tian came in, it really shocked the few dozen Taoist ancestors who were still cultivating in Changbai Mountain. Who is this little guy who came in at this time? Strange, Changbaijian Mountain is blocked, and it is not allowed to enter again at this time. This guy is not the son of a certain 9-fold ancestor peak Taoist, right? I have a clone to stay in the outside world, but I have heard of this Taoist ancestor. He is called the Boundless Taoist. He is a very enchanting Taoist. He grows very fast, and now he has only broken through the 8-fold original ancestor, and he has realized the prototype of the infinite Tao. And, it is said that when he was in the half-step 7th level ancestor, his life level was very likely to reach 9.9. 1. The half-step 7th level ancestor's life level reaches 9.9, which is so terrifying. We have not had such a monster for a long time in the 9th level building, and it didn't take long for us to become the 8th level ancestor, and we realized the prototype of the immeasurable Tao, this proper 9 level original. The embryo of the invincible ancestor. If it is really such an evildoer, then it is nothing to give a place to enter Changbai Mountain. I still think it's a bit outrageous. For such a long time, Zhouzhonglo has hardly made an exception for the Daozu under his command. This is the first exception I know. Cultivation well, we won't be here for a long time. If we still can't comprehend the immeasurable way, it will be a bit embarrassing. Immediately, these Taoist ancestors practiced peacefully one by one. After Yi Tian came to Changbaijian Mountain and said hello to the Taoist ancestors here, he also began to practice and understand the prototype of the immeasurable Tao. As soon as he realized it, Yi Tian felt that this place was different from that of the Red Mountain. What a terrifying effect. Yi Tian was shocked. He now finally understands why Shizhuan Daozu said that the Red Mountain Peak is not attractive to many Tao ancestors who have realized the embryonic form of immeasurable Tao. Only the Taoist ancestors who had just comprehended the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao would go there to comprehend it, while the Taoist ancestors with a higher realm of the rudimentary form of the infinite Tao could not look at it at all. The effect of other treasures is really terrifying. That is to say, Yi Tian's speed of comprehending the prototype of the infinite Tao is too fast, so he feels that the Red Mountain is not bad. If the Red Peak is compared with Changbai Mountain, one is 1, the other is 10, or even 20 or 30. Yi Tian secretly said. In such an environment, Yi Tian's speed of comprehending the prototype of the infinite Tao would be very fast. At this time, Yi Tian felt that before the 10 million points were exhausted, he could completely raise the prototype of the infinite Tao to the level of the infinite Tao by 100%. Years passed, and after only 10 billion years of the original era, Yi Tian's infinite Tao prototype finally had a small breakthrough again. The infinite Tao prototype is completed. At this stage, Yi Tian is very close to comprehending the true immeasurable Tao. At most 100 billion yuan era, I should be able to comprehend the true infinite Tao prototype. Now, I can still practice here for a full 1 trillion yuan era. Yi Tian is full of confidence at this moment and continues to practice hard. On this day, a half-step 9-level ancestor left Changbai Mountain because his points were exhausted and he did not understand the real immeasurable path. These half-step 9-fold primordial ancestors belong to the general half-step 9-fold primordial ancestors, and they are not comparable to the 9-fold primordial ancestors who have comprehended the true immeasurable way. Among the 9-layered buildings, there are quite a few such half-step 9-layered ancestors. They spent countless years accumulating points, and then they were lucky enough to wait for the quota to enter Changbai Mountain. They tried to comprehend the immeasurable Tao, but they still failed. It is precisely because those 8th-level ancestors and half-step 9th-level ancestors are relatively ordinary, that Yi Tian seems to be more and more enchanting, and Shidaoshan wants to kill him. If Shidaoshan knew the speed of Yi Tian's current progress, I am afraid that even the original ancestor of the Zhejiang would shoot him to assassinate him. Years go by. 5 billion original era, 60 billion yuan era, 70 billion yuan era, 80 billion yuan era. In fact, at this stage, Yi Tian has reached the peak of the prototype of the infinite Tao, and he is only a little bit away from comprehending the real infinite Tao, and this qualitative change needs more time to make a breakthrough. Finally, on this day of the 112 billion yuan era, Yi Tian's infinite Tao prototype completely broke through the shackles and completed the final transformation. Boom! The breath of immeasurable Tao erupted from Yi Tian's body, spreading over the entire Changbai Mountain. At this moment, the other Taoist ancestors were shocked and couldn't believe it. What? The infinite Tao ancestor has comprehended the infinite Tao. So fast. What kind of evildoer is this? We have practiced for so long, but we still haven't made a breakthrough. He has only entered the era of more than 100 billion yuan, it's good so he made a breakthrough. I finally know why Zhejiang made an exception for this endless Taoist ancestor. If such a monster does not make an exception, no Taoist ancestor is qualified. Finally comprehend the infinite Tao, turn back and stabilize, and then combine the infinite Tao with the infinite will to form the infinite Tao domain. Yi Tian thought to himself. At this moment, an extremely terrifying breath descended, and he was a peak powerhouse of the 9-fold primordial ancestor that was no less than or even surpassed the Daozu of the primal chaos. Wow, dragon! A Taoist ancestor looked at the 9-fold ancestor who suddenly came here. I have seen Dongchen Daozu. Yi Tian and other Taoist ancestors respectfully said one by one. Dongchen Daozu is a 9-layered ancestor who is more famous than Shizhuan Daozu, and he is one of the 9 most powerful people in the 9-layered building. And Shizhuan Daozu does not have this name, it shows the terrifying power of Dongchen Daozu. Chapter 2257 Underworld Holy Tribe, Eternal Flint. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Listen, the news of the infinite Tao ancestors' comprehension of the infinite Tao is not allowed to leak out, and those who violate it will be regarded as betraying the Zhejiang. Dongchen Daozu ordered. Yes, a Taoist ancestor responded immediately. They dare not disobey Dongchen Daozu's orders, otherwise the end will be miserable. Originally, they wanted to tell their good friends about Yi Tian's comprehension of the immeasurable Tao, but now they dare not. And at this time, Dongchen Dao ancestor told Yi Tian, Endless Tao ancestor, you have comprehended the infinite Tao and condensed the immeasurable will, and soon you can form the infinite Tao domain. If the news leaks, other forces are afraid that the Zhejiang Yuanzu will personally do it. So, try not to reveal your situation as much as possible. After you become the half-step 9-fold ancestor, it will be fine to reveal it again. Master Dongchen Daozu, I understand. Yi Tian replied. He knows that his current strength is still very weak, and it is not bad to keep a low profile for the time being. In a word, the infinite Tao domain is his trump card, which cannot be easily revealed. When his cultivation base improves and he has practiced for a long time, it doesn't matter if he is exposed again. When he becomes the half-step ninefold original ancestor, his strength is not inferior to the ordinary ninefold ancestor, it will be very difficult to be assassinated. This is also the reason why Dongchen Daozu told him to try not to expose himself in the half-step ninefold original ancestor realm. Since Yi Tian has already broken through, he has no intention of staying in Changbaijian Mountain, and if he continues to comprehend, it will only consume the energy of Changbaijian Mountain, and he will not help much. So, Yi Tian left Changbai Mountain directly. This day, Yi Tian was practicing the infinite Tao domain in the interior of the truncated yellow building. At this moment, he was able to combine the infinite will and the infinite Tao to form the infinite Tao domain. Compared with the immeasurable Tao domain of the ninefold primordial ancestor, his infinite Tao domain is smaller and weaker, but in the face of the ordinary half-step ninefold primordial ancestor, his infinite Tao domain can also form a strong coercion. With his current strength, it is no problem to deal with the general half-step ninefold ancestor, but it is very difficult to kill the half-step ninefold ancestor. After all, there is no one that is too weak to be able to succeed in half a step, so it is difficult to kill it. The infinite Tao domain has been successfully condensed, and the next step is to improve the cultivation base and life level, as well as create the infinite Tao control skills. Yi Tian muttered. He has comprehended the infinite Tao, and his own control skills are of a low level, and he needs to improve it to the level of the infinite Tao control skills. With his comprehension, it doesn't take much time. In the blink of an eye, tens of millions of years of the original era have passed. In such a short period of time, Yi Tian has successfully improved one of his supreme Yuan Dao control skills to the level of infinite Dao control skills. At this point, his strength has improved a bit. It's a pity that it is too difficult to improve the cultivation base. It not only requires a huge amount of resources, but also requires a huge amount of time. After all, the cultivation time of the other eightfold ancestors is in trillions. How long has he been practicing? In the restricted area where the soul-splitting red light is cut off, Yi Tian's soul-splitting red beast copy body is also looking for resources, but the resources in that area are almost all based on improving willpower, and resources for improving cultivation are really rare, almost impossible to find. Therefore, Yi Tian currently has no way to rely on the resources there to improve his cultivation. Yi Tian also tried to leave the soul-splitting red light area, but he died immediately after leaving, and he couldn't survive at all. Outside the soul-splitting red light area is a flame area, and the horror of the flame is far beyond his imagination. The cultivation base of the soul-splitting red beast cannot survive at all, and it turns into ashes as soon as it enters there. It's better to cultivate slowly, and you can always improve your cultivation to the middle, late, and even peak realm of the eightfold primitive ancestor. Yi Tian muttered. Primitive Ancient Sea, Nether Saint Tribe. This is one of the primitive tribes of the ancients. The primitive ancients belong to the most powerful one among the primitive antiquities, and the number is also very large. The Underworld Saint tribe is also one of the big tribes in the original Ancient Sea, which is much stronger than the Boulder tribe. At the beginning, it was also the Underworld Holy tribe who ordered several tribes under their command to attack the Giant Stone tribe, but the Giant Stone tribe did not dare to stay in the original Ancient Sea after that, and tried to escape into the vast sea region. Because the Giant Stone tribe is very clear, the Nether Saint tribe has the strength to destroy the Giant Stone tribe. Although the Giant Stone CJFJ tribe has the existence of the peak of the material level, and there are more than 80 people of the material level, but the Nether Saint tribe has 300 strong people of the material level, and there are more than 30 people in the peak of the material level. Among them, there are also two powerhouses that are comparable to the 9-layered original ancestor of the 9-layered building, that is, comparable to the existence of Dongchen Daozu. If the existence of the enhanced material level is shot, the Giant Stone tribe needs at least 10 or more peak material level powerhouses to be able to barely stop, and cannot defeat. This is also the reason why the Boulder tribe does not want to compete with the Nether Saint tribe at all. However, the Giant Stone tribe moved into the bounds of the vast sea area, and the Mingsheng tribe has not given up attacking the Giant Stone tribe, and is still trying to break the barriers of the Giant Stone Ancient Nest and enter the inside of the Giant Stone Ancient Nest. At this time, a group of top-level material level elders from the Nether Saint tribe were discussing the matter of the Giant Stone tribe, and two to strengthen material level existences also attended the meeting. One of them, the most powerful powerhouse, is now the patriarch of the Underworld Holy tribe, Ming Yi, and said, "The Boulder tribe fled into the silent Black Sea, and according to our many investigations, it can be determined that the Boulder tribe does possess the treasure of eternal flint. Eternal flint can allow me and other primitive ancients to break the boundaries and give birth to one more to strengthen the level. However, the group of idiots in the giant stone tribe can't use the eternal flint at all, they are wasting the eternal flint. Patriarch, the giant stone tribe has fled into the silent Black Sea, and we can't do anything about it. We can't all enter the silent Black Sea. Those top forces in the silent Black Sea will not allow us to pass. 1. An elder at the peak of the chemical level said. Mingyi shook his head. Naturally, I can't just leave it like this, but what I care about is not the eternal flint, but where did the giant stone tribe get the eternal flint? Their territory does not have the conditions for the birth of the eternal flint, it should be obtained from other places. Eternal flint. The other clansmen also shook their heads, and they didn't know either. At this time, another powerhouse at the enhancement level, Ming Yun said, unfortunately, it was impossible to confirm the existence of the eternal flint at the beginning, and I was afraid of attracting the attention of other tribes to the enhancement level, so I and the Darkwing Patriarch did not take action, otherwise if we made a move together, we would have taken down the Boulder tribe long ago. It doesn't make sense to say this, let's think about how to break the giant stone tribe and take the eternal flint. If it is delayed for a long time, the idiots of the giant stone tribe have used the eternal flint, and all our efforts will be meaningless. Ming Yi said. One proposal after another was put forward by these hierarchies, but they were all rejected. I do have a suggestion, we can borrow their tribal treasure, the void clothes, from the void tribe, let the Patriarch or Lord Mingyun wear it, dive into the silent Black Sea, and then enter the ancient megalithic lair, find the location of the eternal flint, and immediately take action to snatch the eternal flint. At that time, they can't stop it. An elder at the peak of the material level suggested. Mingyi and Mingyun thought about it carefully, this method may not be very good, but there is a possibility of success. Then use this method. Mingyi agreed. Chapter 2258 Cooperation with the Void Tribe, The Clothes of Void. Open black lens bracket, full order, close black lens bracket. Although the Nether Saint tribe has made a decision, it is not easy to borrow their tribal treasure, the Cloak of Nothingness, from the Void tribe. The Void tribe is not weak, although it is weaker than the Nether Saint tribe, but there is also a strong person who is at the level of reinforcement, so it cannot be forced. And the Clothes of Nothingness is a treasure that has been refined, and currently there is only one tribe of nothingness. The Nothingness tribe is a tribe built by the Silkworm of Nothingness, and the Silkworm of Nothingness is similar to the form of a cicada, and they can breed a kind of silkworm in their bodies. And the use of countless silk can be woven into clothes and other weapons. The Clothes of Nothingness is made by the silkworms of the material level nothingness using the silk in their bodies, and the time required is unimaginable. Moreover, a chemical level powerhouse does not dare to spit out too much silk, otherwise it will consume his own origin. Therefore, the Clothes of Nothingness are very rare, and the Nothingness tribe will not lend it to other tribes casually. The Cloak of Nothingness is so powerful that it naturally has unimaginable uses. First of all, its defense is very terrifying, even if it is worn by the ancestor of the 9 layers, it can block the attack of the ancestor of the 9 layers. Moreover, once the Clothes of Nothingness is put on, it can be hidden, and it is difficult for even the Xeon level 9-fold primitive ancestor to find it. It is because the Cloth of Nothingness is so special that the Nether Saint tribe wants to use this treasure to execute their plan. Void tribe. This day, a figure descended here, attracting the attention of a demon-level powerhouse. But when these chemical-level powerhouses sensed the arrival, their expressions condensed. Elder Mingyun of the Mingsheng tribe. They did not dare to stop this Mingyun, after all, the strength gap between the two sides is too great. In the entire Void tribe, only their patriarch, Void Shadow, can stop this great Elder Mingyun. Of course, they didn't panic too much. They don't think that Mingyun is coming to attack the Void tribe, and they really want to attack the Void tribe, and they won't be the only one here. Boom, the Void Patriarch of the Void tribe appeared. Mingyun, what are you doing in our Void tribe? Ziying asked. Old friend, I'm just here to see you, to chat alone. Mingyun smiled. Ziying also guessed that Mingyun must have something to do with him, so he invited Mingyun into the Void tribe and received Mingyun in his own hall. Mingyun didn't say much nonsense, and said directly, Ziying, I want to borrow the Clothes of Nothingness from your tribe. Don't borrow, the ghost said without hesitation. Although he didn't know what Mingyun wanted the Void clothes to do, but it was the treasure of his tribe, how could he easily lend it out? Moreover, if Mingyun attacks the powerhouses of other tribes with the Cloth of Nothingness, the Clothes of Nothingness is exposed, and it may attract enemies for the Nothingness tribe. Therefore, he is unwilling to borrow the clothes of nothingness. Seeing Xu Ying's rejection, Ming Yun was not surprised at all. If Xu Ying agreed, it would be strange. So, he continued, Void, our Nether Saint tribe borrowed the cloak of nothingness to go to the Black Sea of Silence, so even if you offend the forces of the Black Sea of Silence, you don't have to worry about attracting enemies for your nothingness tribe. And I wear the cloak of nothingness myself. Silent Black Sea, there are almost no strong people who can leave me. Therefore, the clothes of nothingness will never be lost. I still disagree, Shadow said. At this time, Ming Yun took out a treasure, which was a drop of red blood. A drop of blood essence from the primordial beast. This thing can give one of your clansmen a 30% chance of achieving the object level. Even if you don't become the object level, you will inevitably give birth to spiritual wisdom, and the wisdom is no less than the object level. I use this treasure to lend you nothingness. How about the void cloak of the horde? Ming Yun said. The virtual shadow was shocked. He did not expect Ming Yun to bring out such a good thing. Primordial Divine Beast is an ancient creature born in primordial ancient sea before endless years, even before primordial antiquities. Before the birth of the powerhouse, the primitive antiquities were the snacks and toys of the primitive beasts. However, with the birth of wise creature-level powerhouses one after another, the primordial mythical beasts were hunted and killed, and the primordial antiquities also used the blood of the primordial mythical beasts to give birth to a large number of matter-level powerhouses. But in the later period, the primordial divine beast became extinct, and the blood essence of the primordial divine beast became increasingly rare. A drop of the blood of the primordial divine beast is not only useful to the Void tribe, but also to the Nether Saint tribe. If you are lucky, there is hope that the Nether Saint tribe will give birth to a humanoid tribe. For flowers, such a precious thing, the Nether Saint tribe used it as a reward to borrow the clothes of nothingness. What the hell is the Nether Saint tribe going to do? Ghost is curious. If there is no huge benefit, it is impossible for the Nether Saint tribe to spend such a huge price to borrow the cloak of nothingness. To borrow or not to borrow? The virtual shadow pondered for a while, and finally decided to borrow it. If there is one more chemical level clansman, it is of great significance to the nothingness tribe. There are only a few material level clansmen in the Void tribe, and it is only because of him that the highest level of enhancement makes the Void tribe rank among the great powers. Without his existence, the Void tribe would not be able to become a large tribe, and the number of meta-level clansmen alone would not necessarily be larger than those of the medium-sized tribes. Point 0. I agree, Shadow said. Ha ha ha, happy cooperation. Ming Yun laughed loudly. Not long afterward, Ming Yun came out of the Void tribe, already wearing the clothes of Void. Ming Yun returned to the Mingsheng tribe, and then went to the Silent Black Sea. It is difficult to go to the Silent Black Sea from the original Ancient Sea, but there are still several specific passages that can be easily crossed. However, Ming Yun is diving into the Silent Black Sea, and those obvious passages have the 9 ancestors of the Silent Black Sea sitting, so he will not pass through those passages. Therefore, Ming Yun took an ancient nest in the Silent Black Sea as a coordinate, which belonged to an ancient nest of the primitive ancients, so it could be controlled by the Ming Holy tribe. The origin of the burning ancient nest allows Ming Yun to step into it, so as to use the ancient nest as a transit, so as to enter the Silent Black Sea. Silent Black Sea. I stepped in here again. The last time was a war, but this time I have to sneak in. Ming Yun wanted to come in openly and fight with the group of cultivators. But thinking of this task, he is still cautious. Ming Yun urged the clothes of nothingness, and the whole person quietly went to the ancient giant rock nest in the boundary of the vast sea. And he shuttled all the way, without attracting the attention of any Xeon 9th ancestor. It didn't take long for him to approach the megalithic lair. Corpse. Chapter 2259 The Deceived Ming Yun. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. The Boulder tribe has built this ancient nest very well, and even the powerhouse of the peak of the material level can't break the ancient nest's defensive barriers. Ming Yun looked at this ancient nest, and soon had a way to enter in his heart. He could also forcibly break the barriers of the ancient megalithic nest, but in that case, all the powerhouses of the megalithic tribe knew of his arrival. At that time, the dozens of material-level powerhouses from the giant stone tribe fled one by one, and he didn't know which one to hunt down and who possessed the eternal flint. Therefore, he still chose the safest method, that is, to control the clansmen of a certain Boulder tribe, attaching to the other party and sneaking into the ancient Boulder nest. At present, the original antiquities of the giant stone tribe have not yet come out, but the giant stone ancient nest is not a completely closed ancient nest. This gave Ming Yun a chance. This day, Mingyun finally waited for a batch of primitive relics to enter the giant stone and ancient grass, and he silently attached to the other party's body. With a little control, he could ensure that he would not find it. After entering the giant stone ancient nest, Mingyun left. With his strength coupled with the meaning of nothingness, even the most powerful peak-level powerhouse of the giant stone tribe would not even think of discovering him. Of course, he couldn't make a move either, and once he made a move, he would be exposed. He must find the eternal flint before he can do it, so that he can be sure to take the eternal flint. Although the treasure of eternal flint can be placed inside the space treasure can't bear the breath of the eternal flint after a long time. If the giant stone tribe wants to preserve the eternal flint for a long time, a place must be specially built to store the eternal flint. Before, when they were in the original ancient sea, they evacuated the eternal flint, but there was not enough time to completely erase the breath of the eternal flint, so we found the clue. Now, the giant stone tribe must have built a place inside this ancient nest to store it. Eternal flint, just find this place. Mingyun felt that it should not be difficult to find such a place. After all, such a place is not ordinary, and it is necessary to arrange a powerful formation and use special treasures to suppress the breath of eternal flint. Time passed slowly, and Mingyun searched for many areas, and finally found the place where the eternal flint existed somewhere in the ancient megalithic nest. It's here, Mingyun said excitedly. Moreover, he also discovered the two giants of the giant stone tribe hidden here. With two elites at the top of the material level, there must be an eternal flint here. However, he couldn't sneak into this big formation and had to force his shot. Break. Mingyun shot directly. Boom. The formation here was immediately broken, and it couldn't stop Mingyun's blow at all. And the two peak-level powerhouses naturally discovered Mingyun, but they couldn't stop Mingyun. With Mingyun's strength, only 10 elites at the peak of the material level can hope to compete. Mingyun also ignored the two peak-level powerhouses, but only tore the shattered formation and the void with one hand, and saw the inside. In this shattered void, there is a smear of powder, releasing a strong flame breath. Seeing this scene, how could Mingyun not know that he was deceived? This is clearly not the eternal flint, but the powder of the eternal flint, and the giant stone tribe actually sealed a little powder here, creating the illusion that the eternal flint is here. The giant stone tribe is afraid that our nether saint tribe will come to snatch the eternal flint, and it is really cunning to do so on purpose. Mingyun said coldly. Boom. The origin of the boulder layer was mobilized, and a locus level appeared. These chemical grades formed a battle formation, based on the entire boulder, to compete with him. Mingyun didn't dare to stay any longer, although he was sure to compete with the entire boulder tribe, and even killed some of them. But doing so would be risky, and may even be injured or even lost. More importantly, this is not the original ancient sea, he has no support. The forces of the silent Black Sea were very happy to see him fall, so once they found him, they would probably take action immediately. Walk. Mingyun directly broke the blockade and walked away from the boulder lair. Boom. The battle has begun. The boulder tribe did not intend to let him leave, but attacked Mingyun frantically. Even so, Mingyun was still not left behind by them. After all, his strength was much more powerful than those of these objects. However, just when Mingyun just rushed out of the giant stone tribe, he was discovered by Shizhuan Daozu, who cut off the Wongglow. To the enhancement level, Shizhuan Daozu was shocked. This is obviously not the material level of the giant stone tribe. Why did it break into the giant stone ancient nest in conflict with the entire giant stone tribe? He did not participate in such a battle, and with his strength, he was not the opponent of the enhanced material rank. And without knowing it, it is impossible for him to participate in the battle between the primitive antiquities tribes. However, he still passed the news to several original ancestors of the 9-layered building. But even if the original ancestor of the 9-level building came, he would not be able to intercept it, and the top-level strengthening object must have left. Sure enough, Mingyun left quickly. However, this battle attracted the attention of many Taoist ancestors. After all, Mingyun had a few simple fights near the entrance of the ancient megalithic nest, shattering countless primitive relics, and even some nearby communities were shattered, and countless creatures died. Not long after, the strong 9th-level ancestor of the 9-level building came, and the Xeon 9-level ancestor of other top powers also came. Up to the level of enhancement, this kind of existence actually entered the ancient megalithic nest from the primitive ancient sea. Yi Tian was shocked when he got this news. At the 5.9th moment, he thought of the reason why the giant stone tribe evacuated from the original ancient sea, and what the reason was, he still does not know. The giant stone tribe said that it offended other big tribes, but if you think about this possibility, it may not be right. If you really offend other big tribes, you can definitely find a backer, and there is no need to move your family. In this way, the prospects for the development of the giant stone tribe are gone. It is better to pay the price and ask other big tribes to bless them. If it wasn't for this reason, then it could only be the chance or treasure that the boulder tribe covets even at the enhanced level. This time, the opponent sneaked into the ancient megalithic nest instead of attacking directly. From this, it can be seen that the opponent is afraid of looking for something. Yi Tian can figure it out, and so can other Taoist ancestors. As a result, many Xian ninth ancestors came to the ancient megalithic nest, wanting to know the truth. Chapter 2260 Exposure, many Xians are coming. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Boulder nest. The 9-layered ancestors of Zhouzhanglo, Shidaoshan, Demon Sea, Weiji, and Divine Blood sect descended directly here, and their arrival brought great pressure to the giant stone tribe. After all, there is no one to strengthen the ancient nest of giant stone. How can it be qualified to compete with so many original ancestors of the 9 strong? Once these original ancestors of the 9 strong are shot, it is enough to easily destroy the entire ancient nest of giant boulders. Before, the matter of the ancient megalithic nest did not attract the attention of these 9-fold ancestors, but now the giant stone tribe has made these 9-fold ancestors quite curious. If you can make the most powerful powerhouse of a large tribe in the ancient sea coveted, then you are qualified to make them coveted too. If they get the treasure, it is a free chance. Naturally, they didn't want to give up the opportunity at their doorstep. I have seen you Xian. The Bloodstone Patriarch of the giant stone tribe appeared, respectfully and tremblingly. Appearing in front of him are more than 10 Xian 9th level ancestors who have reached the enhancement level. Even the most powerful tribe in the original ancient sea does not have so many to strengthen the object. In the original ancient sea, to level 29 reinforcements, he hardly ever dealt with the weak. So, he was a little scared. Bloodstone Patriarch, if I'm not wrong, the highest level of enhancement that broke into your gigantic ancient lair before was the Mingyun of the underworld holy tribe. Dongchen Daozu of Zhouzhanglo opened his mouth and said. He is not unfamiliar with Mingyun. After all, he also played against Mingyun briefly in the last war, so he is somewhat familiar. According to what I just learned, Mingyun broke into the ancient megalithic nest, and sneaked in secretly, wearing the clothes of nothingness. It is not normal to think that the dignified to strengthen the material level to infiltrate a giant stone tribe that does not have the strengthening material level. Therefore, Dongchen Daozu is also curious about what the giant stone tribe has. Bloodstone Patriarch, Mingyun is for your megalithic tribe, and hand it over to us Shidaoshan, so that you will not be targeted by the Mingsheng tribe. Daozu said with a smile. Bloodstone hurriedly said. Dehu Daozu is joking, our giant stone tribe has nothing good, and in order to successfully transfer here, we also paid most of the resources. Currently the giant stone tribe is very poor. Mingyun came here, but only we want to attack and kill us, these chemical grades, but we have already prepared, so we counterattack the other party as soon as possible and let them retreat, that's all. Do you think we are fools? Day Tiger Daozu said coldly. Do you want to convince them for such a reason? Boom. The aura of the ancestors of the 9-layered ancestors was crushed, causing the bloodstones to be solidified. Can't compete. Let's go into the ancient megalithic nest and check to see what happened. Although it has happened for a while, the megalithic tribe should not have erased all traces. Said the Shanqiang Zhouzhangyuan Zuda Mo Daozu. Then go in. These 9 original ancestors of Xian did not take the mere megalithic tribe in their eyes at all. For these Xian 9th layer ancestors, only the powerhouses of the same level are qualified to make them pay attention. If the Boulder tribe also has one to strengthen the material level, then they are qualified to communicate with them on an equal basis. And now, they don't qualify. Whoa. These Xian 9th ancestors directly broke into the giant stone ancient nest, but the Bloodstone Patriarch of the giant stone tribe and other chemical grades did not dare to stop it. The power of their entire clan can only stop one Xian 9th layer ancestor, and one more cannot stop it. Therefore, there is nothing they can do. After Dongchen Daozu and other Xian 9th level ancestors entered the ancient megalithic nest, they quickly found a place to save the eternal flint powder. Although the place has been destroyed, the ability of the original 9-layered ancestor of the strongest still peeped out a trace of the breath of eternal flint. The breath of the eternal flint is difficult to erase, so the giant stone tribe has not completely erased the breath of the eternal flint. This is, the breath of eternal flint. Dongchen Daozu and others were extremely shocked. The Boulder tribe even has eternal flint, which is incredible. At this time, they finally knew why the underworld holy tribe targeted the Boulder tribe, and even Mingyun personally sneaked in. It was really because the Boulder tribe had eternal flint. An eternal flint even has the hope of creating a Xeon 9-fold primitive or a powerhouse at the enhanced level. The Nether Saint tribe has only 2 to strengthen the material level. It is conceivable that the eternal flint is important to the Nether Saint tribe. They naturally want to win the eternal flint. Eternal Firestone, if you give us the 9-layered building, there is also hope to create another Xeon 9-layered ancestor. Dongchen Daozu thought to himself. Although the Eternal Firestone is useless to the 9-layered ancestors who have reached the Xeon, it can create one more powerful person of the same level, which can greatly increase the strength of the force, and the value can be imagined how great. In addition, they also thought of one thing, that is, where did the Giant Stone tribe obtain the Eternal Flint? If there is more than one Eternal Flint in that place, then the information of the Giant Stone tribe itself is priceless. For a time, these Xeon 9th level ancestors all stared at the Bloodstone. Still exposed, Bloodstone was extremely frightened and desperate, and he knew that the next fate of the Giant Stone tribe was definitely not good. Patriarch Bloodstone, where is the Eternal Flint? Don't say you don't have it, we don't want to hear this nonsense. Hand over the Eternal Flint, and the Giant Stone tribe will still exist. If you don't hand it over, then the Giant Stone tribe will be wiped out. Daozu Dehu threatened. Bloodstone hurriedly said, "Everyone, our megalithic tribe had an agreement with you, you can't attack our megalithic tribe." Dongchen Daozu said coldly, "That's just the agreement signed by the following members of the 9-fold original ancestor peak with you, and it has nothing to do with us." Seeing this, Bloodstone became even more desperate. Obviously they would not take into account the agreement. A physic-level powerhouse from the Bloodstone tribe was captured from a distance by these Xeon 9th level ancestors. Although they wanted to form a battle formation to resist, they were instantly blown up. At that time, these demon-level powerhouses who were comparable to the original ancestors of the 9 layers were imprisoned. Bloodstone, say it, if you don't say it, these chemical grades will die. A Xeon 9th ancestor threatened. Bloodstone knows that these Xeon 9th level ancestors really dare to kill these objects. After all, practitioners and object-level powerhouses are enemies, so it is not surprising that they do it. "Okay," I said, Bloodstone said helplessly.